Yes, podala.
For the horde.
Cool.
Yo.
Yo, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Nothing much, man. I'm getting back into WoW. I'm going casual. I'm not
Jeez.
going casual for WoW.
Oh, okay.
I mean casual streamer in my territory.
All right, all right.
But
So,
how much
what
time do
made
you
you
have?
want to get back into WoW? Like, that's...
Oh, I mean, I always come back for the expansion. Usually end of expansion, I just do shit and then just make sure my bag's ready and then get back into WoW. I know it's weird because right now there's like nothing to really do. It's more like waiting for the next expansion, that awkward time in WoW. But it's more about like prepping for the expansion, knowing what they're changing and like making sure I know what to expect going in. You know what I mean?
I do. I definitely do. I mean, BFA has been kind of... some of the decisions that they've wanted to make have been really kind of questionable. But overall, I mean, hopefully it'll be fun. And I think especially if you want to take it kind of casually. I remember like back whenever Legion came out, you were doing like Emerald Nightmare and shit, right?
Yeah. That's when I took the game. Like, that's when I was like full on WoW mode.
Yeah.
And then I just quit. That's how I usually am with WoW. After like... Usually do it and then, you know.
That's how a lot of people are, actually. So.
Yeah, so and then I usually just come back. So it's more like knowing exactly what's going on. Hold on, I have to get another healer. Yo, chat, we need another healer. I'm starting.
What are you trying to do?
I'm just doing it at Taurus right now, just to like randomly gear up and just remember how to play a little bit, and then also.
What class are you playing?
I'm playing DK.
Okay, did they tell you anything about what I call community runs?
Community runs? No, what is that?
Yeah. Well, it's a thing that you can do to help out like your stream and at the same time help yourself out, right? So what you do is you invite a bunch of other DKs in with you, like maybe like 10 or 15 other DKs, and then if they get an item, they can give that item to you.
Oh, because we all get the same type of loot.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So you just get a shit ton of plate.
Yeah.
Well, can you actually do that in like a heroic though?
You sure can. Yeah, I mean, obviously you have to get people that are good, right?
Yeah.
But if you just bring in like maybe a little bit more plate or a little bit more DKs than usual, then yeah, you can totally do it.
Okay. All right. Well,
like I've done that with characters, and I've gotten up to 960 basically, because like you have both legendaries, 960 in one run from basically zero.
With like a fresh
ridiculous.
110?
Yeah, dude, it's fucking ridiculous.
Are you serious? Shit.
Yeah. I think I haven't done it with like a fresh 110, but I've replaced every piece of gear that I had on an existing 110.
Even
so
doing
it might
this,
as well be fresh.
Even doing this, I've gotten like 4 or 5 pieces, and this isn't a full plate group.
The thing is, like, it's just such a joke now. I mean, you can get gear so fast. I mean, I think that you kind of probably already realized that at this point.
Yeah, this is like ridiculously fast. But I mean, do you think that's bad for WoW?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, because gear used to be like, holy shit. Now it's like, oh yeah, man.
Did you do Project 80 or Project 60 with us? Like, I don't think you did.
No,
right?
I never did. I'm not super hardcore into WoW as I used to be, but
it's like I go back and I look at those characters, even the characters that I had, and I remember where I got those pieces, right? And nowadays you've got like transmog, you've got like all this other stuff. You don't have that same attachment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, whenever you're getting like 15 different helmets and you have to pick the one that has like 6 extra stats, I mean, obviously it's not as entertaining. I mean, WoW, it's one of those games, it's kind of like PUBG, where you just love to complain about it, you know? And that's always how it's going to be.
But that's because that's passion. It's because you like it.
It is, because people love the game and they want it to be better. And is it in a good spot right now? I would say that, I mean, like, you played WoD, right?
Yeah, I did. I
sorry
barely got into WoD. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I barely got into that shit.
Right. So the thing with it is, like, it's better than WoD. It's by far better than WoD.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a lot of problems that Legion has. I mean, every expansion has its own problems, but realistically, like, now is a really good time to get into it, because by the time that you actually get, like, the hang of the game, well, for one, they're going to switch it up on you, so you have to relearn everything.
Exactly.
But on top of that, you'll have a basic idea of like how the systems work, etc. And I think that'll be it'll be helpful, and I think BFA will be fun, right? Because I don't know if you're like me, but you're probably really excited for Classic, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah, dude. All right, yeah. So like that's the main thing that I'm like looking forward to too. And,
would you say you're more excited for Classic over BFA? With what they've shown with BFA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am.
Okay.
I am. I mean, like, so the thing is, like with me, like obviously I play the game a lot, so
Yeah.
like problems for me might not necessarily be problems for you. And
Yeah, I get
think
that.
that's a yeah. So for me, like concerns that I would have with BFA might not really affect somebody that just wants to play it kind of like for the beginning of the expansion or just kind of like on a more chill level or whatever.
I mainly do it
And
for like, okay, I want to gear up and raid and just like,
yeah.
my main big thing with WoW has always been raiding, like being a progression raider type shit. I love that.
So with that said, how do you feel about the fact that they're going to be getting rid of Master Loot in BFA?
Yeah, I was talking about that. I think, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with that. That's weird because I know it's like, okay, we need to gear up our healers first, or we need to gear up our tanks first and shit like that, you know, or our best DPS, so you can progress better, but
yeah,
I don't really know. I feel like sometimes, like, in this point in WoW, they should listen to people who actually play a shit ton, or like know what's good for the betterment of the game, because they know they've put in more hours than any dev ever has, type shit, you know?
Probably, yeah. I mean,
what I'm trying to say is they should listen to you.
You know what? I agree. I really, that's a great idea. And I've been trying to get them to do that too, but it hasn't been working enough. Like,
I don't think they ever will.
Yeah, the more I try to get them to listen, the more things that they do that I don't want. You know, it's crazy.
Well, let me ask you: do you think it's good that? Do you think it's stubbornness? Oh shit! Do you think it's stubbornness, or do you think it's them like, okay, we know what we're doing, or it's like
I think it's a lot of everything. You know, like the thing is, like, I'm not, at the end of the day, like I'm not a developer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there are things that I think would be good for the game, but I don't know how to program. I don't know what's possible. There's a lot of things that I don't know, and I try to at least have that level of humility, right? I don't. There are things that I think are good for the game. I played the game forever. I love the game. You know, I want it to be successful, etc. But do I know that these things will work? No, I don't. But I mean, nobody does, right?
Yeah.
And all I want to do is, like, I completely agree with you. I really wish that they would do something where there would be a way where players, like some sort of forum where they can curate like legitimate feedback and everything. I think a lot of it though is stubbornness to some degree though.
And honestly, like, I mean, I've been on and off with WoW, whether you read the infamous Battle.net forums or whatever. Maybe they're jaded from all that shit from years of torture. Like just reading those responses. But
well, they hate me, man. They hate me. Like, honestly, like Asmongold, like sometimes they refer to me as the person that will not be named. I'm like Voldemort or something.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The classic forums, or not the official forums, are there are some people I don't know what the hell's wrong with them. Okay, let me just say that I don't know what the hell's wrong with them. But I do agree. Like, obviously, like they're very negative. Basically, like every forum about WoW is like kind of negative. But
yeah,
I think overall, like people have been pretty, like they have been less negative, which at this point is kind of positive towards Legion, right? Because usually, I mean, even like Burning Crusade. Like, did you play back in BC?
I did play. BC, Vanilla, and Wrath were my big ones.
Yeah, so like you remember, like back then, people hated the game still. You know, there's never been a time where people didn't hate the game.
That's true.
And yeah, it definitely is. And I think like really the main thing that Blizzard, like what I want them to do, right, is like you played back then, like you're around my age, like it's like it gave you that experience. You know, and it gave you like that cool like experience of like being in like this different world, and you can, you know, like kind of forge your own destiny.
But is that
was
it because it was new though?
So I think it is. Obviously, it's because it's new, but to a degree, yes, and to a degree, no. Right? I think some people can have a similar experience to what we had. Will it be the same? I don't think it'll be the same, but I think it'll be similar, and that's really what I want Blizzard to do. I mean, that's kind of like that's my main motivation, right? Is I felt like the experience that I had was really kind of important for me, and that's what I want them to do. And you know, the reason why they don't change things, etc. I think some of it is like kind of it's like statistics based, right? It's like Titan forging, like you know how that works, right?
Titan forging, that sounds wicked familiar. Titan Forge, you could Titan Forge gear or whatever, right?
Yeah. Basically, it's like randomly, like a piece of gear can just be like really, really good.
Oh,
And
wait,
there's, like,
that's now the current. That's like with the prismatic socket and all that shit. I never liked that because it's an added layer of RNG.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
I remember actually because someone told me about that. Did they add it in WoD or was it Legion? I want to say WoD.
So it's actually Mists of Pandaria. So they.
Oh really?
They
I played
originally
Mist. I don't
started
remember.
it. You remember in TOT, Thunderforge?
Was that the initially
it was the first one.
Oh, I guess I just don't remember it, but. Oh wait, yes, I do. I remember. Yes.
Yeah, and then they did it in the next tier, and they called it Warforging. And then in what do you call it? The next expansion, WoD. Then they just went full on with it, and then they had like sockets that were also RNG, and basically like every expansion they've just added more and more and more RNG, right? Because what I think it is that they're like, okay, well we want people to do these raids more, so if we make it to where they can never get the best gear, they're going to do the raids forever. But
yeah, that's dumb as fuck.
Is, like, well, see, here's why it's dumb as fuck is because like you played D3, right?
Yeah.
It's better in my opinion. And like you never got best in slot. You can't get best in slot in that game. You just quit. At a certain point you just quit. I think it's better to quit because you finished rather than quit out of apathy or just giving up. You know, like I'd rather finish a set.
Because
be
it's like,
okay,
oh, you've ran this so many times, you'll never get this one piece of loot because it's so based off RNG. Whereas in the past in WoW, it's like, oh, I might get, hopefully this sword drops, but this is the only rare sword, but hopefully I get it. But the drop rate was so low that it made it very nice to get it, and you know there was no iteration better than it, whether it's like a socket making the difference or whatever the fuck.
Exactly, because you have an item, right? And if you have like a thing like, oh, it can either be like +6 item levels or not, whenever it drops and it's not that +6 item levels, it doesn't feel good, right? So it takes what was like maybe an 8% drop rate, and now it's like a 0.8% drop rate to get the same feeling. And
That's
so
dumb.
they're just like making it less often. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things like that. I feel like one thing it is that there's a lot of people like, and maybe this is partially my fault, I don't know, but there are people that kind of like elevate the rhetoric and like they talk in like extremes, etc. And I think it makes it really hard for the devs to communicate with the player base and really see what people want. And it kind of puts it as like an adversarial thing where it's like the devs versus the players. We're really like, we want the devs to be on our side, and we just don't feel like what they're doing is helping the game, right? Because like that's why we play the game. That's why we're giving feedback, because we want the game to get better.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's one thing that happens on the forums a lot, etc. And I don't really know what to do about that, honestly.
I think the problem is, you know, this might be weird, but I think the problem ends up being then it's forums. You need to talk. Like there needs to be some sort of like a fucking summit or some shit where you have all like people who are very, very experienced with the game talking to the devs face to face and giving their honest opinions instead of like just reading responses from random people on forums. And it's a lot harder to take that shit seriously, but it's because it comes down to the anonymity, right?
Well, also people post shit for karma, right? Because if I wanted to post like a the equivalent of like a 1,000 word evaluation of something that goes wrong, or I could just post like a one-liner joke, right?
Like, oh, this is for noobs. Fuck this.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, but why?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, that kind of stuff. I guess like internet forums and everything like that, they do kind of, in my opinion, cultivate, you know, like those low-quality posts a lot. And I mean, sometimes you have like on Reddit, sometimes you have like really high posts that get upvoted, but that doesn't
necessarily doesn't mean it's right. Like,
no, it's not. Just because something's popular doesn't make it right.
Yep.
Exactly. Like if everybody thought the Earth is flat, it's probably still not flat. You know?
I don't know, man. I think the Earth might be flat though.
Well, what's on the other side?
Look, all right, we're just. You gotta believe it,
right,
man. You gotta believe it. And you gotta believe it.
Speaking of that, like the Azeroth. So they said that Azeroth, right, the planet that we're on in WoW, is supposed to have another side. And then they have in one of the cinematics, and it turns around because we waited like 20 minutes for the thing to go do a full rotation. It's just the same continents. I felt betrayed.
Wait,
honestly.
I never thought about that. Holy shit.
On the other side of the planet.
Well, the way I saw it was that it's like, you know, if you look at one of the world maps, they show it like flattened or whatever, and you see all the continents. I always thought that's how the WoW map was. You're telling me that's just one side of it?
Well, see, that's what I thought, and I thought they said it was the other side, and apparently, no, you're right. Like, that's, there's nothing else really there. Like, I don't know. I mean, until maybe 2 expansions from now, then they'll be like, oh no, that was a little bit different, and then they'll change it up.
Do you think that's how they function, though? Do you think they do that just because they're bullshitting, or do they do it because they don't want to spoil anything? Or do they...
I think that they do it because they're bullshitting, and then once they get to the point where it's obvious that they're bullshitting, they say because they didn't want to spoil it.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, let's be real. Like, there have been a lot of things like that where they've completely changed up like the lore for different characters, and
yeah, I know,
you know, they try to make it make sense.
Lore's just been ridiculous with this game, but I mean, at the same time, it's kind of like
they've done a pretty good job. I mean, for a game that's been out for 10 years,
exactly.
I mean, I'm still playing. Come on.
No, I totally agree, because it's like, shit, how many villains can attack this fucking universe and shit?
They just keep coming.
Yeah. But I mean, and then after a while, like, you know, I still think Lich King was the coolest.
Lich King was the best villain. Like, I think that, like, I liked Garrosh more as a villain. I think he was a better character, but I think Lich King was the best villain. Like, if I asked my dad, right?
Yeah.
Who doesn't know anything about this. Watch me play the game for 10 years. He still has no fucking idea. If I ask him, if he sees the Lich King, he'll be like, oh, is that the Lich Man? Yeah, it's the Lich Man from what? Yeah, of course,
because he's so iconic. Like, he's so obvious to spot compared to, like, Garrosh. Who the fuck knows who Garrosh is? It just looks like an orc.
It's an orc.
Yep.
Yeah, who cares? Deathwing, oh, it's a dragon. Is that Smaug from Lord of the Rings or what? Like, you have no idea. But Lich King is completely iconic. I totally agree. And honestly, if they brought back the Lich King, I would only complain probably for a few hours. Okay, which is pretty good.
Well, what do you think how they portrayed Illidan? Because Illidan's up there with Lich King in terms of like people knowing who the fuck that is.
Okay, so did you watch or did you go through like the Legion storyline at all? Like, do you know how all that works?
For the most part, I saw the cinematic where he like sacrifices himself or whatever, and the sword goes into Azeroth.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, they turned Illidan into John Cena. I'm serious. Like, it's not even it's not even a joke. That's how ridiculous it is.
Oh, God.
So basically, there was a thing where you find this rock, and this rock turns out to be one of the Naru, and you go through this different like dream state vision, and she was like, okay, we have to find the true, you know, the person that's gonna bring balance, and his name is, and I was waiting for the fucking flute. And it said, you know, it might as well have been John Cena. Yeah, Illidan Stormrage. There you go.
Oh my.
And that's basically what they did. I mean, Illidan being kind of a good guy, like, it's not a complete retcon, but it's still, it's a little bit odd.
What would you say you're really would you say you're really knowledgeable when it comes to lore? Or do you pay attention like a lot, or compared to like a lot of the lore nerds? I guess you
Scale of 1 to 10, I'd say a 7.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I mean, I know a little bit about it. Like, if you ask me something, I would probably know.
Yeah.
But in terms of, like, somebody that actually has read all of the books, etc., probably I wouldn't be on that level.
So you know enough to understand what the fuck is going on.
Well, I know enough to understand that I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Exactly, because that's WoW. Yeah, true.
Yeah, exactly.
On top of the fact, don't they constantly change their writers and shit?
They do. They change everything. I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. And you'd kind of see that with like different types of storylines. Like, they've done a lot of like redemption and like corruption storylines, right? Deathwing gets corrupted. Lich King gets corrupted. Garrosh gets corrupted. Illidan, in a way, gets corrupted. Like, basically almost every single villain gets corrupted. And it can be a little bit boring, but to me, as long as the gameplay is good and everything, it's not a big deal.
That makes me think, because I was talking to this dude who I guess you could consider as one of the WoW lore nerds, which isn't a diss or anything. I think it's cool that people know specific shit. But like and he was thinking that in the new expansion, Anduins might be corrupted by the old god.
So they already have a what is it called? A comic that shows Anduin as an old man with Valen, who's the Naru's, or not Naru, the Draenei's like racial leader.
Yeah.
So if they did corrupt Anduin, they would have to uncorrupt him at some point, right? Or they would have to retcon that storyline. So I don't think that would really happen, just because they kind of already disproved it. Because I thought Balin was going to die, and people said no, he's not going to die because of this thing, right? And he'd have to be around for at least Anduin to get older.
Yeah, because he's still young as fuck, right?
Oh, well, Anduin, that's the thing is you never know. I mean, I would say he's probably like 21 or something like that, because you watch the cinematic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think about the cinematic?
I mean, I just think Anduin's corny. But
he cries during the war.
Wait, he cried?
What?
Really?
He cried.
When he was like that. Azeroth.
Yeah.
And he was crying?
Yeah, he's crying. And this is the king.
What a bitch.
It's like it's the king. I know.
I didn't know.
It's insane. Yeah, I was a little bit
Oh my
that doesn't
God.
It doesn't fill you with confidence, like you look like, oh, where's the king? Oh, he's crying.
Yeah, you watch Game of Thrones?
It's sad. I do, yeah.
Is he like Tommen?
Tommen?
Oh my fucking God. You think he's gonna jump out a window? What if that's the expansion?
You never know, man. At this point, you never know. I think he does remind me a little bit like Tommen. Yeah.
Oh my
and he
God.
even looks like him,
spoilers. Sorry. Fuck. It's all right.
Too bad.
Wait, did you watch up to that?
I didn't watch the most recent season, but I think that come on, like within like 2 hours of Infinity War being out, people were spamming spoilers.
Exactly.
I know what happened.
Yeah.
That if you don't want to have your movie spoiled, don't be on the internet.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
Well, okay, let me ask you this then. Lore aside, what do you think is what are you looking forward to the most in the new expansion? The changes.
I'm looking forward to this whole thing of Warfronts, right? Did you ever play Warcraft 2 and Warcraft 3?
Warcraft 3,
yes. The RTS?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so they're basically making it to where you function as a Warcraft 3 hero. And the functionality of the Warfronts isn't really that engaging, but I really like the idea of them, and I think it's something that they can build on. And there's a few other things like that I do really like too. And there's that. They're making, so do you know how PvP gear just doesn't matter at all right now, right?
Yeah.
You just have a set stat template, and that's boring as fuck.
When you say a set, you mean eye level?
Well, your item level, basically, let's say there's one guy that's 850 item level and another guy that's 950 item level, right? And that's basically the differential for pretty much any two.
Yeah,
players.
that's it.
Brand new versus absolutely completely decked out.
Yep.
The only difference between their power is about 10%.
Really?
10% between the absolutely like most geared out person possible and somebody that just started playing the game the other day.
I've never really thought about that, but that's interesting to think about.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think that obviously there's something to be said for that, and it does kind of make sense, right? Because you don't want to have people just like one-shotting each other like there is in world PvP.
Yeah.
But there's got to be a balance, right?
Are you saying, because in the past, like, okay, if we're looking back at like vanilla and shit, it was more like, yo, if you had fucking Arcanite Reaper compared to someone else, you do a fuck ton more damage, or like you were. Yeah. You mean, so you want like more disparity there? You want...
Well, I mean, a little bit more, right? Like in world PvP now, like you can kill other players that are under geared, like they're just random mobs. It's not even funny. Well, it actually is funny, but it's also kind of it's kind of sad too. Like you can 1v5 people, and that was never possible at any point in time.
Yeah.
So that was.
Wait, Warfront, and so I just remember we were talking about that earlier. Warfronts is you're talking about the PvP where you flag in the city and then.
Oh no, that's war mode.
War mode. Oh shit.
Yeah. So you know, like world PvP and like that being like a big thing, and it used to be much more of a thing, and like recently, like now it's not. Well, they're getting rid of PvP servers, and they're making every server the same, except for the fact that all of the servers you can go into a city and toggle on war mode. And if you go and you toggle on war mode, that's basically like you're on a PvP server, and you know people of the other faction can attack you, and you also get like a buff to like experience and like rewards by like 15% or something like that.
Yeah.
So it makes it a little bit easier to level up, and then there's also a risk involved that other people can kill
come and kill you. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, do you think that's cool? I think that's pretty sick.
I do actually. I like it a lot.
But I feel like then you're gonna bring out a lot more balance. We were talking about, like, what about tanks? Like, I remember in World PvP, if I sit there and I'm a tank, no one can fucking kill me. I'm a blood DK. Like, I will.
I'm aware. It's not very much fun.
So it's like, I wonder.
Like, they've got to balance it because World PvP is more imbalanced right now than it ever has been. There's never been a time that's worse.
I feel like WoW PvP is just so dumb now that I only play it for PvE. Whereas in the past, like, oh my god, the machinima and like the World PvP was the greatest thing ever.
Wreckful 3.
Wreckful 3.
I remember all of it.
Drake Dog, fucking all of them.
Well, you would raid. It's like you would get a new item, right, in the raid. And the only thing that you would do is as soon as the raid was over, you wouldn't go into a dungeon. You'd go into a battleground and go kill people with it. You know, that was the whole point. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, I'd like to see more of that, too. I think it's always a balancing act, right? Because...
Well, do you think this expansion was balanced at all with their changes? No. So then how many expansions have they been where there hasn't been balance? I feel like that's every single one.
How many expansions have there been?
No. How many have they balanced? Which expansion has been balanced? The last one I remember was like BC, maybe Wrath.
Well, I don't really think. I mean, the thing is, like, how many of them have been balanced? Like, everybody is going to complain, like, because like none of them have really been fully balanced, right? Because the game it's not like CS:GO or something where everybody starts out on the same foot, or like a game where everybody is literally the exact same. So you're going to have classes that are going to be better. It's like League, right? I mean, like, some champions are going to be better than other champions temporarily, or, you know, for a period of time. And that's always how it goes. But at the same time, making sure like everybody kind of gets their chance to shine. And even when they're not like kind of shining, they're still okay. I think Legion has done better than other expansions, but I think probably the best one that I would say would maybe be Wrath. Like, that's what I kind of like in terms of balance.
Yeah. I don't think they're ever going to get back to that point. Do you think
I don't
they
know.
will?
I think that they're very afraid of letting people that don't play the game a lot not succeed. I think that's really that's the main problem that they have. Because if you look at the game right now and you look at PvE progression, there's no exclusive power reward that you can get from PvE that you can't just get from lower difficulty or something else just by being lucky, right? There's nothing you can get special and mythic that you can't get on heroic just by being lucky.
Yeah, because you can roll on heroic and get like a mythic piece. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because it just Titan forges, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit odd to me, right? I mean, especially as somebody like, I raid, like, I have no problem. I raid for loot. Like, if there was no loot in the raids, like, people would always make a joke after I got my last piece for Best in Slot. Oh, we're not going to see Asmon until next expansion. I wasn't laughing because it was true. I was gone. So yeah, that's always how I've been.
But it's like I know what you mean though, because it's like, well, now that exclusivity and that feeling of, oh shit, I just got something that not many people can experience is gone because of the RNG. But then also on top of the whole Titan Forge bullshit.
Well, yeah. I mean,
so
also,
it all ties in, the whole loot and everything, right?
Well, I think that they don't really want people to feel special in that way, right? And I think that there's also a lot of denialism in terms of like what like human psychology to a certain extent. It's like people buy expensive cars because they want people to know that they have the money to buy an expensive car, right? I mean, like, people buy like a $1,000 Gucci jacket. It's not because it's that good. It's because it's $1,000 and they want people to know that they're, you know, rich or they can afford that or something like that. They want that status and they'll pay a lot for that. And it's the same thing with WoW, right? I mean, you have people that will spend a huge amount of time to get some, like, really, in the grand scheme of things, a pathetic amount of prestige. But it matters a lot to them and people care about that. And I think Blizzard should take that into consideration.
Do you think they're doing this because they're prepping for potential console release?
Oh, you saw the PS4 thing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's gonna happen, but I wouldn't be surprised. But the thing is, I don't know why is WoW. Do you think WoW is currently at the point where they want new players, or do you think they're at the point where? See, that's what I don't get. WoW, I don't think WoW is gonna get new players. WoW has its established player base. They're established. They need to constantly make sure their established player base knows gets exactly what they want.
I think it's probably like a 70-30 thing, right? Where like retaining the player base is like 70% and getting new players is like 30%. Maybe it's only 80-20, you know?
Yeah.
But you're completely right. I mean, I think that like WoW kind of did make a bit of a mistake catering too much towards like retaining their older audience. And this was like a while ago, not like now, but
Well, you think
years ago.
that retaining their older audience, that's what they did in the past, do you think?
Well, I think so, absolutely, because they've made like more ease of access features in order to keep those older players like still engaged with the game, right? Because it's harder for them because like, you know, people like us, like obviously like we're lucky because we can play video games all the time.
Yeah.
But other people have, you know, real jobs and stuff and they can't do that. And they've made changes like that to make those people able to still participate and be okay with the game. Is it better to keep those players engaged by giving them easier modes of the game, or is it better to attract newer players that are willing to put in the amount of effort that those older players used to be able to, right? And that's always the that's the choice that they have to make, right? And I think that it's kind of both. And the thing is, like, you can't really, especially with like exclusivity rewards and like you know, prestige rewards, it's like everybody can't have a prestige reward. If everybody has a prestige reward, then it's not valuable, right?
Yep. No, I see what you're saying. That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. And so I can see what they're doing. I mean, I'm not like, I'm not irrational. Like, I understand why they're doing it. It's just that, you know, as somebody who, you know, like, from my perspective, I wish they would do it a different way. That's basically the way that I feel. And I think that, like, allowing, like, people that are casual players, don't really raid a lot or don't really have a lot of time, giving them something that's fulfilling is good. I just don't think that the most fulfilling experience they can have is just a watered down experience that the hardcore player has, right? It's just, it's hollow in a way. And I think that's why we've been seeing so many people like that, you know, like you start at the beginning of the expansion, then you quit. And, you know, I think a lot of other people feel the same way.
You know why I quit?
Level of satisfaction. Why?
I was doing very well. Okay, now, depending on how you feel about this, it will make more sense. But, like, for me, I didn't have a guild, so I just got a pug from Twitch chat, and we did very well. Like we actually did wicked well. Like we were doing well, normal and heroic, progressing properly, everything. We got to farm state when others were still progressing with heroic, so we got there. But the thing is, we couldn't go any further because Mythic needed 20 players, and it's like, I'm not going to coordinate 20 motherfuckers from Twitch chat. So the fact that
no way, man.
The fact that in the past, you know, during I forgot when they switched it. Maybe it was during WoD, but before you could do heroic. Heroic was the hardest difficulty with 10 players.
Oh, that was in Mists.
It was Mists was
25.
Last.
Oh, yeah. You could do it with 10. I remember that. Yeah, I forgot about that.
But it was because I don't know if it was because it was easier balancing for Blizzard, or if it was because 10 players is just easier. Which it is because it's less players you need to worry about.
Well, I mean, like, you know, dude, you've been in guilds. Like, the hardest part about having a guild is just getting everybody to get there.
And yet,
like,
show up.
You actually, to show up, to not want to kill each other. Oh my God, you're basically done.
Yeah.
Guilds, it's always been like the drama.
Yep. If your main tank's gone, you're fucked. Or if a healer's gone, you're fucked potentially. And then you need to hopefully find someone who's really good or can replace the person and stuff.
Right. Yeah, and somebody gets their feelings hurt and they don't want to show up anymore, etc.
Do you think now that Mythic, you need to... Okay, what do you feel about raiding now with the whole flex and shit? I think it's weird. Because it
is definitely weird, right? And I like it in a way, and I don't like it in another way. And the way that I like it, obviously, it's more easily accessible. That is a good thing.
Yeah, accessibility.
The way that I don't like it is that, like, whenever you needed 25 people, you would take clowns. Like, you would just invite somebody who's like, all right, this is a warm body. We need somebody. And it's, you know, Billy from Trade Chat who bought the game last week and had his brother level for him. This guy has no idea what the fuck he's doing. He shows up. It's funny for everybody. And in a way, it kind of helped people, you know, move up in the ranks, you know, like having those requirements of having groups, right?
I was Billy in Vanilla WoW, man.
Billy in Vanilla WoW was level 40 on his hunter, probably still using two-handed weapons.
That was me, dude.
Weren't a bow. Really?
I mean, would you say in Vanilla WoW with 40 players, like, we didn't have meters and stuff, so...
You could suck back then.
Yeah, so it's like,
you just
have to hope everyone knew what the fuck they were doing. I was the hunter who was 12 years old, who had all int gear.
Yeah.
That was me.
I used to attack bosses from the front instead of behind. Because I'm not a bitch, you know. I can take them on right head on, dude. Like it was in my head. I was such an idiot. But I did that for years. I was like 17 whenever I finally stopped doing that, and I learned, oh, they can parry from the front. That's why your DPS is lower than everybody's.
Can you still wait? Do you still get parried in the front? I just like because it's like, oh, you can, okay.
Yeah.
Because it's like you just assume everyone's in the back. You just do it. I mean, you don't think about it because it's like second nature now or whatever. Or it's instinct. Oh yeah. Wait,
yeah,
what did you play in vanilla?
Warrior. I played a mage, right? Yeah, that was my first character because I watched like the cinematic and there's some mage fighting an infernal on the side of a mountain. I was like, oh yeah, it's me. And I played that, and then I played against a twink warrior in a battleground, and I just obviously got two-shot, and I was like, yeah, I'm playing the wrong class. And the next day I made my warrior, and it was like completely made out of a misunderstanding of the game.
That happened.
What was your first class?
You know, with me, actually, I made a druid, and I got to level 10, and I got bear form, and I was like, what the fuck? I thought you could tame a pet. And I re-rolled and made a hunter, because I just read it wrong.
So instead of being the pet, you wanted to tame the pet.
Exactly.
You could be more than that, exactly, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, man. The Night Elf, wait, what race were you?
First character was undead, right? And he had, the spiky hair, and then I just made my human warrior. Like I actually have the same character that I made all the way back then.
I loved. Did you ever in vanilla do anything Night Elf related? I know Night Elves were looked at kind of weird back then.
So
there was some racist shit with Night Elves back then. Okay.
Oh hell yeah, dude. I mean, there's still like all kinds of like weird. I still hate pandas, to be honest. I still do.
Yeah, I can't take them seriously. I really can't.
They're stupid, man. Like, I mean, come on. Like, it's just too much for me, man. Really, just too much. Yeah. But I actually I got my mom to play WoW because because she kept telling me to go to bed, right?
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, yeah. She keeps telling me to go to bed for raids. Maybe if I get her into playing WoW, maybe she'll ask me if there's a spot. You know?
That worked.
You know. It did.
Wow, is she good at the game?
No. But she still plays.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she played a...
wait, since when? When did you introduce her?
2006.
Oh, shit. So she's like hardcore. Oh, damn. That's fucking awesome,
she's hardcore,
dude.
Yeah. She's been playing the game the whole time, and I got her to play a druid.
That means she likes it. That's actually wicked cool, dude.
I would hope so after all this time.
No, just torturing.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, what were you saying? You got her to play a druid?
I got her to play because they can heal warriors.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of made sense.
Yeah, that's funny.
So you started playing in like 2006, probably?
So I mean, dude, I've been since the beta. My brother was in the beta, and then I was like, dude, I want to play. And then remember back then the computers, dude, like Wi-Fi cards. Now the PCI ones were graphics cards back then, essentially the size. So I had like this shitty ass computer.
You had a graphics card.
At least I had a graphics card, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't have one back then?
No, I had an HP pre-built computer from Sam's Club.
Oh god. They made oh god. You don't remember like the old voodoo cards?
No, I didn't know how to use any of that. Like I didn't have like anybody older than me to like show me like what to do or anything. So I just had like this crappy computer, and I had no idea what I was doing entirely.
Oh, mine was shit too. I mean, like, I feel like everyone had a pretty shit computer back then, even because technology was better, right? Like, I mean, even during, remember Molten Core? For me, it's like, okay, people used to do like the weirdest shit to make it so their games ran well. I used to have to like look at the ground on some raid fights, like Ragnaros. Or some shit.
Exactly.
So you could get like, first person or turn around so you could get proper FPS.
There's like an ice elemental that has too many like particles and you can't look at them.
Oh my.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, I'm getting carried through this mythic.
You remember Yogg-Saron, the fight in Ulduar?
Yogg-Saron, Ulduar. I did complete Ulduar. Ulduar was very hardcore, and I was in a 25-man heroic guild. I think I quit right before we beat Yogg-Saron. I went back into FPSs.
You remember the clouds that you could walk into?
Yeah.
My computer didn't render those clouds.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and I got kicked out of my guild.
Oh my god, dude.
So I have a lot of experience with bad computers,
Oh
but
god.
yeah, it was that's one thing like a lot of people don't realize that about like vanilla WoW. Like, how long do you think it'll take for people to clear all the raids in Classic?
Oh, way faster.
I would be amazed if any raid lasted more than 24 hours.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Like
for
that,
sure.
yeah.
Because all the
Uh,
hardcore players, no one's new. They're not going to be new. People know the mechanics. They know the setup. You've seen the videos. You know the class and everything. And it's
Yeah.
like, I don't think it's going to be as hard. Before it was like entering a brand new fucking world. Like, you don't know what to expect.
And you can't find out either. What are you gonna do? You're gonna on Thoughtbot? There's nothing.
Dude,
like, how
Thoughtbot.
would you even figure on? Yeah, Thoughtbot.
Fucking
Like, there'd be
Thoughtbot.
no way.
The original thought.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, yeah. I remember going on that website every single day, and there was just a bunch of misinformation because people would just type things in there that were just like completely fake.
Because it was just
to be
like
funny or something.
Yeah, because you could. Players populated it, right?
Yeah, yeah. It was
They just-
completely player populated.
Damn, yo. People, that website, I swear, wasn't it like weird though? Wasn't there some controversy with it? I swear it was like, wasn't there like an Asian dude who ran it and it was like crazy controversy? Or it turned into like a gold farming site or something?
I'm trying to remember, like...
I know
there was-
WoW had
there
an
have been
MMO
so
champion.
many-
They kinda,
Yeah, there have been so many websites that have had like controversies around them, right? Like,
Yeah.
like Wowhead's had it, like MMO, every website has had it. Maybe it was Alakazam. That
Oh
was
my
another website.
god,
Remember that one?
Alakazam.
I never went to that one because I couldn't spell it.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I always felt like Alakazam was sketchy. A lot of those websites, like the design of it, looking back, were like fucking, you're gonna get hacked.
It's like nostalgic, right? Because you look at it and you know it's like there's no way this would fly in 2018.
Exactly. I don't know what happened to those. Is Thoughtbot still? Thoughtbot, is that still a thing?
I don't even know.
No, you can't. If you type in Thoughtbot, it goes
Takes you to
Wikipedia and then
Wowhead,
goes
right?
to Wowhead. Maybe they bought
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You think they bought it?
I would kind of assume so, yeah. I mean, that's the thing is that a lot of like basically there's like Wowhead and MMO Champion, and those are the only, and like MMO Champion's like Curse. And like those are the two people that, or two organizations that like make WoW content generally now. Like nobody else really does a whole lot of like WoW content at all.
Yeah.
Just because like the player base, I mean, think about like, do you want to make a website about WoW or a website about Fortnite no scopes? I mean, what's going to get more people, you know, watching?
Exactly. WoW is so saturated, right? That
Yeah.
there's like, you can't really be original with WoW in that sense anymore, and all the players know exactly what they want now. Would you agree with that? They know, they already have their resources set in stone. Like, if I'm gonna look for new shit, I just go to MMO Champion because it's TLDR. I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you say you're kind of the same way, or?
Honestly, like, yeah, basically, you're right. I just rely on Twitch chat to tell me things, which is sometimes not the best idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You know, for a while, I thought like all kinds of crazy stuff was going to happen in BFA until I looked it up and I found out it wasn't even true. But yeah, I mean, I had a lot of people like, I had a lot of like those websites and everything that I would go to.
Yep.
And like MMO Champion was like the place that I would go to. Like I had like, remember the expansion countdown timers and everything.
Dude.
Like that was really, really fun.
What was your favorite expansion?
Vanilla.
Vanilla?
Does that count?
No,
I mean,
no.
whenever
I think
say
it
that,
counts.
people get triggered.
See, the thing is, I think it's because a lot of people say it and they're like kind of bullshitters, or they're like posers, I guess. But I feel like if you actually grew up, I 100% believe you in the sense that that's totally fine. I would say
like my favorite point in the game.
Favorite point in the game? For me, I wouldn't say it was vanilla, because I'd say it's BC, because vanilla is when I was really young and I was getting my feet wet. But I do remember, I feel like the world was so much more fresh in the sense of, do you remember like Eastern Plaguelands and shit? Like I used to follow a guide as a Frost Mage. Do you remember that old Frost Mage guide for leveling where you went a specific spec?
The AoE farming?
Yeah.
I used to love that. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, dude. I used to love that shit. I went to Eastern Plaguelands and stuff, that cemetery with the skeletons that just keep spawning and spawning. And
you
it was
just round them all up.
Yeah, with the rune cloth and stuff. And then remember the epics you used to get as well? You get the weird priest staff, and then you
could get that. No, it wasn't Scepter of Sumen, but it was something like that. And there was all kinds of like there's like farming. That's one thing I kind of liked about it back then, and like I don't think we'll ever get that again, right? With like any game, because now
No.
everything's online, right?
Yep.
So there's no like finding like this cool little thing that only you know about, because this cool little thing that only you know about has been clickbaited on YouTube 500 times.
Exactly. Before it was like, dude, I even remember, man, fucking technology. That's what it is, dude. And the internet,
know,
it's accessibility.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if nobody had like the internet, the game would be completely different. And in a way, 100%. I think it would be enjoyable in a different way, right? I don't want to say it would be more enjoyable.
It would make people
really cool.
need to go out of their way to find answers to their questions.
Right.
You know, all this shit I'm asking you, if this shit wasn't available, I'd be in game talking to some like gnome, being like, dude, where we gotta go?
Exactly, and like, who knows if he's gonna tell you what to do, or if he even knows what to do.
Yeah, and it's like he might be just as lost as me, but and WoW was like that. Even though Thoughtbot was a thing, it was very bare bones, right? Would you agree?
It sucked.
Yeah, essentially bare bones, and it fucking sucked. But a lot of it was actually you had to rely on your guild and like actual relationships with people. Like when I was younger, people fucking hated people. Just I remember there was this one guy who fucking hated me. But because I was my brother's younger brother, they couldn't kick me, or he couldn't kick me even though he tried. But I felt like guilds back then, they were way more.
They were meaningful.
Yeah, they were more meaningful, even the relationships and everything, because it's like, shit, I raid with these dudes every day. And you know what? It was also the gear. Gear was so fucking big. Whoever got the really benediction. Important. I remember I played on what guild did you play on? Or not guild, sorry, server.
Thrall.
Thrall? Okay. I don't know much about Thrall.
Like Wrath.
Would you say?
I went over to Kel'Thuzad.
Was that a prominent server?
You
know how like servers had reputations back then? You know what I'm saying?
Our guild had a reputation of being full of assholes.
Wait, how old were you?
16 and 17.
Oh shit, really? Wait, how old are you right now?
27.
Wait, what the fuck? When I played, I was wicked. I was like wicked young. I was like in middle school.
Well, I started in 2006, right? And so I started at the end of vanilla.
Oh,
like, I got
okay,
to 60 and everything. But like, there are people that could have played two years before me.
Okay,
and,
okay.
I do regret that I didn't start earlier, but at the same time, like I'm glad that I got at least to play vanilla a little bit, because it was. I just like how everything like mattered, you know, and I do agree. Like there are people that would hate me. Like there's this one guy that sent me in-game mail telling me that like he hated me and I was like dumb. I still have it.
Really?
I still have the in-game mail.
Wait, so wait, do you still have the character? Are you on the same account from vanilla? Yeah. Really?
Same
okay,
account.
I'm not on the same account. That's crazy.
Same account, same character even. This Asmongold character is one I made in 2006.
So you're like fucking, you have an OG as fuck account.
Guess what my /plate is?
Hold on, I depend. What's mine? Okay, I'm at 125 days, which is like nothing on this character. So I'm gonna say over 1,000. I'm gonna say 2,200 days.
Not that much. Okay. On this character, I have 953 days, and across all of my characters, I have 1,276 days. And that's like ever since vanilla, right? And like being AFK, a lot of it, etc. But a lot of it, I was not AFK for it either.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But not really crazy. Crazy as in kind of crazy in the sense of like, holy shit.
I don't regret it.
Yeah, of course.
It's a good game. I mean, really, what else am I gonna do? Am I gonna go watch like another series on Netflix? Come on.
Exactly.
I mean, like realistically, everyone's like, "Oh, what would you be doing inside? You could be so productive." It's like, no, I wouldn't be. Like, I would literally just be doing something else that wasn't productive.
Exactly.
It's not like, oh yeah, if you take away WoW, I'm gonna be like a scientist. Probably not.
Yeah, it's like when people are like, "You're wasting your life," and then on the computer, and then you look at them and they're just watching TV.
They're watching sports. You ask them about like basketball players, and I know how many goals they score each game, and it's like, yeah.
Do you know about sports?
I'm wasting my no.
Yeah, dude, like when people, I feel so left out. Like if I go get a haircut or something, they're all talking about like, oh, this player and he has this many fucking downs and this, and it's like, you guys know so much shit, specifics about the players and their specific attributes or whatever,
Yeah.
That
Like
that
what
could be
teams they
seen
were
as,
on.
yeah, that could be seen as a waste of time, but I know about fucking night elves and their boobies, you know?
Me too.
That's where my
Like,
expertise is.
exactly. And it's like somehow they think that they're better than you because, you know, they know about dudes and you know about night elves. Right?
Exactly.
It's kind of it's a little bit weird to me, man. It is. And I guess it's society, right? Because I mean, I guess nowadays, like, you remember back in the day, like people would kind of, they wouldn't really make fun of you. I never really got made fun of for playing video games,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like, oh yeah, that's cool, man. This guy plays WoW. And if anything,
Compared
like
to
WoW
now,
is like, yeah, WoW is the one game that losers play.
oh my god.
You know?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. 100%.
Everybody had a story of, you know, oh, my cousin started playing WoW and he got kicked out of college and, you know, his mom hates him now and something. And so, like, you tell them and they just assume that you're the same, etc.
Do you think WoW was I don't think, would you say obviously you're not as addicted as you were?
Well, if I was, I wouldn't say. But, you know, the way that I look at it, like, I mean, anything can be like, I think it's a psychological addiction, right?
Yeah.
To a certain extent, because you get to be part of this environment, this world, this ecosystem that's separate and like has a completely different like value structure than like real life, you know? In real life, somebody that has like a lot of money or somebody who's attractive or physically adept or whatever, you know, they have a lot more advantages than somebody who doesn't, right? But in WoW, like if you log on, you're level 1, every single other person logs on and they're level 1. And the only thing that really determines your success is how hard you work, what you achieve. And I think that was addicting to a lot of people. And it
takes away factors
like,
that, no, dude, you fucking hit the nail on the head. Like,
yeah,
all the factors that you grow up with or what society brings you out as or what you need to worry about, you don't have those. You have a different rule set of what, if you can fucking say WoW is some sort of like a society in a sense. And when the game did come out, it lets you just follow your own path and have a different rule set. And some people saw WoW as their actual life. As sad, some people can see that as sad or whatever you want to call it, but actually saw it as a more viable option.
It's what they wanted life to be, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't want it to be based off of, you know, who your parents were, how much money they made, or what you looked like. They wanted it to be, you know, how hard you can work, what you can achieve, and what you can try if you put yourself to it. And like as a game, yeah, of course that's to a certain level pathetic. But at the same time, it's also kind of weird that people that, you know, have things that are out of their control, you know,
be judged by that.
Yeah, be judged by that too. Yeah, I mean, every society, like every like value structure has problems, right? And WoW of course has problems too, but it was definitely a nice break of you know, change of pace for a lot of people, and it could give people that didn't really have, like, this is the same with me, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you're 16, you're a loser, right? I mean, like, what are you doing whenever you're 16, right?
You're either a jock or you're fucking a nerd.
Yeah, or I mean, you're maybe gonna work at McDonald's or something like that.
Yep.
Or, you know, if you're lucky, KFC. There's just nothing. Yeah. I mean, come on. The thing is, like, a lot of people didn't really have a lot of options, right? And there was nothing that they could really do. So they were just kind of like, they were just stuck. And this is the same with me, right? I was just like a kid, and I could get on to WoW, and I was put on an even playing field with everybody else. And I was like telling people that were like as old as my teachers what to do, and they were listening. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, man.
And I think that gives you like a certain sense of self-worth, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, maybe I am more than what I am, and that meant a lot to me. That's why, you know, at the end of the day, man, that's why I want to do the changes that I do. That's why I want the game to be like I want it to be, is because I had that experience, and that experience was really important to me. And I want to see other people, other kids that, you know, the Asmongolds of today, you know, have that same experience. Yeah, exactly.
No. See, the thing is, though,
you get it. Yeah.
Is there? See, this is the other thing, though, because I feel like we're not the main. Okay, how do I put this?
The target audience.
Yeah, target audience. Like, okay, if you look at Fortnite, for example, I know Fortnite, right? But Fortnite is the 12-year-old. Like, we are older now. We are considered a different generation. The 12-year-olds have now grown up. The 12-year-olds need their WoW, right?
Right.
And
yeah, they need something that's going to give them that experience that we have.
Yeah, but see, the thing is there going to be something like that? I feel like we were blessed with fucking WoW. And as corny as that sounds, and only a veteran WoW player would understand, I feel like we were blessed and grew up in a great fucking gaming time.
We did. I mean, was there any DLC? Was there microtransactions? Did you have to connect your Facebook account in order to get, 10 extra coins that you can use in the in-game store? Think about it, man. I mean, it was perfect. I mean, think about 2004. Like, Halo came out. Halo 2 came out. Was a Half-Life came out then? WoW came out. I mean, there are just so many games that
every genre had its like fucking amazing golden child game. Whether it's Counter-Strike for FPS, WoW for MMO, StarCraft for RTS. Right. I don't know what the fuck else. All other genres had like their amazing game. Now it's like rehashes, remasters.
It's like, how many times are they gonna redo? Like, it's the same with movies, man. Like, how many times do I have to watch Spider-Man?
I know, right?
Yeah, I mean, really, come on, give me a break.
Diablo 2.
Yeah, Diablo 2, what up?
Just back then, like all the genres had like their golden fucking child.
Oh yeah, like ARPG. Yeah. I never was allowed to play Diablo 2. My mom thought it would turn me into a Satanist.
Oh, I'm not surprised, because like the graphic style and like Diablo, it was kind of fucking diabolical.
Well, it was very like Frazetta-esque, right? And it was like
wait, what?
Like Frazetta, like Frank Frazetta. He's like a very very well known like painter and like illustrator for like fantasy stuff.
Oh,
and
shit.
like a lot of like art that you see now is like in a lot of ways like derivative of him, or like it's like the way that like he depicted things, right? And like I thought that Diablo 2 and like Diablo 3 also like kind of followed that same path. And Diablo 2, like if you look at how successful Diablo 2 was, and you compare that to Diablo 3, which was not. What did you think about Diablo 3?
Wait, did you play Diablo 2? You said you didn't but did you?
I did not.
Did you play it at least ever? Okay, you never did.
Never did.
Okay, I never played it either. But I understand. I get why people are like all about, oh, Diablo 3 sucks and shit like that. Whatever. I didn't mind it. The first time through, I did not mind it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the cinematics was cool, the experience was cool,
Agreed.
but I understand from a very veteran experience to someone from an ARPG and all that why they wouldn't like it, just from reading up and their experience and shit. But
did you play Reaper of Souls or did you just play the original?
Reaper of Souls I played a little bit of, but I mean, what did they add? Just a new Crusader, a new class?
I mean, there was like a new like kind of progression system with like the greater rifts, but it was kind of
the rifts.
Like,
yep.
Okay. That WoW has though, right? Where everybody kind of gets all their best gear, because like in the original D3, like I thought it was okay. Like the Real Money Auction House was a little bit kind of, I didn't really know what to think about that. I mean, there were good and bad things about it.
I think they were just trying to maybe, what if it was successful? I think that would have been a massive game changer for gaming in general. So
100%.
I understand the risk they took. It was a cool risk, but clearly it didn't work.
Clearly it didn't work. There were just a lot of things like that I did like about Diablo 3 a lot, but there's a lot of games nowadays that kind of have, I feel like they have like a pre-packaged like expectation of the amount of time that somebody's going to put into the game, and they're not really designed for somebody to just kind of really fully immerse themselves into it and play it in like a really, really extended way. I mean, you have exceptions. I think like Skyrim is kind of an exception, etc. But many games I think are just designed for about 40 or so hours of quality gameplay, and then everything else is mediocre or non-existent.
Yeah. Nah, man, I totally agree. Shit. I mean,
it's not even about WoW. I think it's just in general.
Just gaming in general?
Yeah. I mean, I think like gaming is much more of a, it's hard for me really to say this, but it feels much more corporate than it used to be. Right, it's like a lot of the decisions that you see like gaming companies make nowadays, you can just follow the money, right? Whereas before, they would make the game good and people would buy the game, and that's how you would follow the money. Whereas like now you have like all these systems for like skins and stuff.
Exactly. It's more about like, I think skins are getting boring because every game is doing it. I don't know if you feel the same, but it's like, and like not only
I don't
that,
even have Fortnite skins.
I bought a couple and then I just then I stopped giving a shit. But some people are like, oh, the skins. But I think they just go with like the flow. Like, oh, like everyone likes the game, so they try to act cool. But
there's a new one, and so they want to buy the new one.
Yep. But I mean, it was way cooler. See, the thing is, like now it's skins. Before, like sure, going back to WoW, it was like not about skins. It was like also the stats on the weapon, the way the weapon looked, the way it performed, and everything was cool as fuck.
Well,
it was
mattered,
and you
right?
earned it. You earned it. It wasn't money. It was you. It was your like status.
Yeah,
Even even your server status and shit like that. Like I even remember in vanilla.
Feel good? Do you have a good server on your or good guild on your server?
I did. Like
Yeah.
I played on Shattered Hand, and they had like a pretty good reputation. But there was this one guy named like Jubilee or something, and he, you know, when like honor killing and shit like that was pretty a big deal. And you got the honor armor, and then there was what was the mace? The Hand of Rag? Was Hand of Rag?
Hand of Ragnaros. Still first.
Yeah, but I remember like he was considered the best PvPer on the server. Like people thought he was a piece of shit because he just went and ganked everyone. And you know, servers were way more close back then, right? Remember the forums on VNet?
You knew people.
Yeah, you knew people, and they had reputation. Like there was this other guy, I forgot his name. But he was like a troll in the trade chat on the server, and everyone knew. Like he always used to say shit at night and stuff like that, and everyone used to know who the fuck he was.
Yeah,
and
just a problem boy.
yeah, and there was the drama on the WoW forums and stuff like that.
Yeah, people that were like at war with each other on the forums, and you just see them standing next to each other in Ironforge. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like stuff was way more close then. Obviously, when the game opens up, the world opens up with the whole server transfer and server transfers and everything. It's almost like they opened airports. Before everyone was on the same island, and they just opened up transportation, and then
That's
mix
an
and
interesting
matching.
way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do feel like they've done a lot recently to try to make it easier for people to not really be accountable for what they do wrong.
You could probably write like a. You could probably see a really interesting study on WoW. It's probably already been done, but if you look at it, like WoW was, you were on your server. You were you only knew the people on your server, and then they opened it so other people could come to your server or leave the server. So it's almost like, what about real life in the sense of they open up transportation for people who used to live in a world that was all confined and you knew everyone, and then it's like, oh, it's spread out.
Well, it's also like it was a lot harder to level characters, right? So if you had a level 60 on a realm, that was a really big investment. Like everything in the game, like the easier you make things to get, right, the less investment people have for getting them, because they just, you know, you just get them very easily and you don't really care. And
Because
I think
it's
that's
not
like
as
one
unique.
of the problems. Well, it's not as unique. You didn't really put a lot of effort into it. Like there are things that a lot of people have that people still feel good about getting because it took them time, right? You can't give somebody a reward and like make them feel rewarded. Like that's an internal thing. And I think a lot of game developers don't realize that, and I don't think a lot of them care. They just want to go for the instant gratification, low self-control crowd that are just going to use their mom's credit cards to buy all the skins on the store.
Yep.
You know, it's an unfortunate state and I don't really know, like, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think that's going to go away, or do you think people will get tired of it, or what?
I don't think so. I think you're going to see more and more, because it's constantly been more and more, and there's no sign of it stopping. It's just signs of it getting more and more and more. So yeah, and it's been like that. Even if you look at WoW, I mean, they added the shop and everything. That was one of the weirdest things. This is actually kind of cool. I've never done the Argus fight. I'm being carried right now, so.
Yo, dude, just whatever it takes.
Yep.
You want to get Amonthul's Vision, okay? It's a legendary.
Amonthul's for DK,
yeah, you
or?
want to get that. Everything, yeah. That's what you want to go for.
Wait, what do you mean? Like, what type of legendary is it?
So it's a trinket, right? And Amonthul can drop a wizard. They said that, you know, it's basically forced, right? It's forced personal, where like you can't master it or anything. It's just like randomly given to like some players, and it's like a really, really good trinket. It's a legendary, and it's 1,000 item level, and you can use it.
1,000? What the fuck? Really?
Yeah, dude, 1,000. That's where we're at now. 1,000 item level.
Holy shit.
They're like scaling it back in the new expansion now.
Do you know what it's gonna be? The number?
So basically 1,000 I think goes to 280.
Whoa.
That's kind of like where it's at. So
Wait,
like 280 right now is like Lich King, like Heroic Lich King.
Oh wow, so numbers are gonna be going down too, right? You're not gonna be seeing a million hits. Okay.
No, not for probably another expansion.
Was that
the scaling now is insane?
Yeah. Was it weird? Or is it weird? Didn't they do that for an expansion? They did the shrink.
They did it for WoD, like at the end of Mists of Pandaria.
Was it as big as this shrink? Or is it gonna be?
Bigger. It's
bigger?
gonna be bigger. This one's gonna be bigger.
I feel like it doesn't. Do you think it really changes the gameplay a lot? I don't mind that.
I don't really think so. I think that it's indicative. Like if you have to rescale the entire game every other expansion, there's probably a problem with the game, right? And I think that they should deal with that. But I mean, really, it doesn't matter. No, it doesn't, especially in terms of playability. But I always thought that it was cool in like Wrath. Whenever I finally saw somebody with like 100,000 health, and you know, I finally had 10,000 health in Burning Crusade. You know, there are like these things that you knew that you would get to like in like a couple expansions or something like that. And people always imagine like, what would it be like hitting for 1 million? I think that's cool, but it's not really something that Blizzard should design a game around.
I totally agree, man.
Yeah.
You have done well, mortals.
Did you get it?
Wait, hold up. Gandalf's talking.
We must gather our strength.
Who are these dudes?
Return home.
And you're doing a
the
cinematic?
Yeah, the cinematic.
Okay, so basically, Gandalf is the leader of the Titans, and then the girl next to him is another Titan.
Okay.
And then you know Sargeras, right? The asshole?
Yep.
Okay, well they've got to get rid of him and put him back in jail, basically.
Yeah.
And Illidan stays behind to be the jailer of Sargeras, which makes no sense because he had no Illidan's just like a night elf and Sargeras is a Titan. I don't know how that works, but it's supposed to work. And
I was
then
confused
Valen and everybody
too.
else.
Sargeras is the big motherfucker.
He's the big motherfucker.
Okay. Is
That's
he the
right.
one that stabs Azeroth?
Yes.
Okay.
He's the one. That's why he's the asshole.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
is he
and
the
they-
overarching? Isn't he like the main villain?
So they've retconned this like twice, and yeah, he is basically the main villain. He's like the Satan of WoW.
Okay.
And I think he killed all the other Titans, and now they just have like their essences around, and he's the only actual Titan that exists. I think that's how it works. I'm not entirely sure.
So all those dudes were Titans in there, and they're all dead. So it's all their essences.
Okay, my chat's telling me no, lol. Okay, so I probably should read this again. But Sargeras is very, very powerful, and they had to put their essences together to, like, imprison him, and that way that would end, like, the Burning Crusade, and, like, the demons would no longer be a threat to, like, Azeroth and other people, too.
Yep.
Because, like, Sargeras, they made Sargeras into being, like, kind of, like, somebody who... Like, before, he was just purely evil, right? And now they have it where they're like these guys called the Void Lords, and Sargeras is trying to destroy all planets and all other Titans to where they don't get corrupted by the Void Lords. So he views himself, I guess, like, or you can view him as, like, a necessary evil.
Okay.
Which is a bit of a retcon. But, yeah, kind of like Thanos in a way, in the comics. Yeah. And
I could see that.
Right. So I think it's okay for them to like retcon some things. It's fine, but that's basically what happened.
Do you think like
go ahead.
I could see him like getting in power somehow or getting out of it and keeping Illidan as a prisoner, or maybe killing Illidan
I
and
think
escaping?
what's more likely is there's going to be a Void Lord expansion somewhere in like 5 or 6 years from now.
Wait, a what?
And a Void Lord expansion.
In 5 or 6 years, you think they're gonna really?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're printing money with this game. Like, people keep buying the expansions. Of course, they're going to keep making games.
Oh no, I know, but it's like it's just more interesting in the sense of like 5 years, because one expansion every. When did Legion come out?
I think it's gonna be like almost 2 years. Basically, Legion was out for about 2 years.
Okay, so like in the 2 expansions, you'll see Void Lord stuff essentially, right?
Yeah, something like that. And then whenever the Void Lords do come out, then you'll have Sargeras and Illidan come out of hiding, and then maybe Sargeras will actually work with you, which for somebody who's played the game forever seems absolutely ridiculous, but it's plausible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be kind of weird. Yeah, they've taken things in a pretty awkward direction, but hopefully BFA like will kind of scale things back, because it's like, where do you go after you just defeated a Titan and imprisoned, you know, this like other Titan, and you've ended the Burning Crusade? What are you gonna go do after that? Are you really gonna have people like go back and collect poop or something like that
know,
to level up again? Yeah,
That's
it's a little
true.
bit silly.
Oh my god.
That's basically what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
No,
No,
which is
yeah,
kinda
essentially.
funny.
We're going to be leveling from 110 to 120. You're still going to be killing boars or whatever the fuck is the animal for someone.
Yeah. Well, they scaled everything back, and I think that's good.
Yeah.
I really do. I'm like, the thing is, like, it's okay to just be an adventurer. Like, I think that's kind of cool, because whenever you like, how much like did you ever do like role playing?
I mean, nah, but I used to watch like the only roleplay I saw was Towley when he used to do shit in Moonguard, and he used to like he used to like fuck people. Oh, well, try to. I saw the depths. I saw the depths of the
you've
WoW
seen the depths
imagination.
of
Yeah, I've
WoW
seen it.
roleplaying.
I've seen that.
Well, I think also, like, everybody, at least like to me, like, kind of I don't know if this is like a dumb thing to say or not, but whenever I play a game, I view like a character as like the visual representation of like myself as like a person, and I'm just like kind of, this is my avatar, right?
Yep.
And like, one thing that I think is kind of an issue with like a lot of RPG games, and like WoW specifically, is that they direct your character's narrative, right? Whereas before you were able to just kind of like, I'm a warrior from this spot, and you know, I'm like just this kind of rogue like warrior or something like that. And now, like, they basically tell you, okay, your character's doing this, your character's doing that in the lore. And I think, like, directing a character's lore is like not really something that they should do a lot in an RPG.
Yeah. No, I agree. And do you think they're doing that more and more?
Oh yeah,
especially
dude. I mean,
with
like,
now BFA as well.
Well, you've got the class order hall. Like, they literally tell, like, did you do the paladin one?
The paladin? No.
Yeah, the paladin.
I barely
You
did
get
him, even on my
Ashbringer.
main. Oh yeah, that was dumb as fuck. I agree.
You get Ashbringer. I mean, literally, the sword of Tyrion Fordring used to shatter Frostmourne, and like, yeah, you're the High Lord, and you see another guy that's next to you, and it's like, oh yeah, he's the High Lord too.
Yeah,
you know, you're both High Lords. It's like, give me a fucking break.
That's dumb. That is dumb. I feel like that is when it's like they're just gonna give everyone everything, like everything they wanted in WoW, or everything that made everything unique. It's like, oh, we'll just throw it out there. But I mean, that was weird. That is weird. You see so many of them everywhere. I mean, at least they're getting rid of them, but it's already happened.
Well, it's not even about the thing, right? It's about the logic behind it. Like, what's the philosophy behind these changes? Like, why do they want to give everybody Ashbringer, right? Like, to me, that's much more interesting than, you know, the actual change itself. And I think it's kind of weird that they've made these types of changes that, you know, they give everybody everything, and I don't think it's a big surprise at that point whenever people don't feel like they're really like as motivated to play, or they don't really feel as good about, you know, like making their character better, etc.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate though. It really is. Like,
yeah,
but
man.
I really hope that BFA is better, and I also hope that, like, I wish that Blizzard had a way, as I said, just to get better player feedback. I think that's a big issue that they have, is that, like, everything is like just so elevated, right? Like, people, they act like a change in the game is like, you know, a fundamental, like, affront to their, you know, their lifestyle or something like that. It's just, it's way too intense. And I think if people could, like, kind of scale things back a little bit, it'd probably be better for everybody.
Are you?
Like,
are
I
you?
know, like,
You're looking forward to BFA overall, though? Would you say?
I am nervously, like, I don't really know if I'm really looking forward to it. Like, I guess kind of, like, it's a new expansion. There's a lot of things that I'm looking forward to. Like, I want BFA to come out, but there's a lot of things that I'm not looking forward to as well, right? And it's one of those things, like, it's probably the first expansion that I haven't just been overwhelmingly positive towards. I will definitely say that.
Really?
Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, whenever Legion was going to come out, I thought Legion was going to suck because WoD sucked. I was like, okay, yeah, Legion's going to be bad. WoD's bad. Game's dead.
But Legion surprised you?
Legion was not as bad as I thought it was.
Okay.
I thought WoD was going to be amazing.
Yeah. Oh, but
Wow. Yeah, so that happened.
yeah.
I wasn't too happy about that. But I mean, yeah, I hope that it's good. I think that's really what it comes down to.
Personally, I never liked the whole garrison bullshit. I thought it was tedious. Did you like it?
It's one of those things where, like, I like some things about it, but as a system, it just isolated players. Everybody was sitting in their own garrison, and the garrisons were too big. Like, they were too, like, you have, like, level 3 is like Stormwind. Oh, you have your own miniature Stormwind. Give it a break.
Yeah.
Like, the level 2 garrison should have been the top. Like, it was way too much.
No, I can see why you could say that too. No, that makes sense.
I did really enjoy, what do you call it? I did enjoy garrisons in a lot of ways, though. I definitely did. They were fun for me. But overall, I don't think that they were good for the game. I think that they could have been implemented in a good way, but they weren't. Like, did you ever do a thing where you could go around and cut down trees?
A little bit. I did for a bit. I
Awesome.
barely played WoD, honestly.
That's good.
WoD was probably the least amount of expansion I ever played, I want to say.
There's a lot of people that are like that, actually. But I think that, like, WoD... Like, I think Blizzard learned a lot of things from WoD, and I think they used that in Legion. There was a lot of things like content. There was a lot of content in Legion, even if you hate Legion, etc.
There was just so much to do.
There was a lot of content in Legion.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of that was, like, kind of repetitive, etc. But I would say overall, it was not. It certainly wasn't the worst expansion. Okay. I would say it was better.
I think they've been
Where
pretty
would you
consistent
rank
with Legion. Legion, okay. I would say for me it goes I will put BC over vanilla because BC is when I actually started caring a lot more about the game and actually did everything I possibly could to play the game and experience it fully. So I'd say BC vanilla. No, BC vanilla Wrath. I'd say I like MoP more than Legion because I rated way more in MoP. So I'd say MoP, Legion, WoD. Was that all of them?
Yeah. Cataclysm.
Oh, dude, Kata was pretty fucking... Kata was like... Shit, man. I say Kata and Legion were equal to me. Is that weird?
No, I don't think so. I mean,
I'm sorry. Kata and MoP were honestly kind of like... No, MoP was better than Kata. I'd say MoP, Legion... I don't know, man.
So, for me, like, I had... Like, there's a lot of nostalgia in Cataclysm for me, right? Because that's whenever I was, like, just hanging out with my friends all the time and all of that, right? So it's kind of hard for me to separate that from, like, the actual game itself. I think Cataclysm had a lot of good things, but also there was, like, almost no in-game content. Like, the raids were, like... The raids in Kata were just so much harder than the raids in, like, Burning Crusade or Wrath, right?
Wait, the raids in Kata? Yeah. Kata
they were
raids.
way harder.
Which one were the Kata raids? I only remember the Deathwing one, honestly.
The Deathwing Cataclysm was Bastion of Twilight, which is where you fought Shogal, and then Sinestra, which was like a hard mode only boss.
Dude,
I
loved the heroic Shogal fight. I really liked that. That dungeon or that raid was pretty damn good.
There's Firelands too. Firelands was awesome.
Oh yeah, Firelands.
I really like Firelands.
Firelands, killing
really
Rag
fun.
and everything. Yep.
Yeah. There were a lot of good things about Kata. Like, I liked Kata overall. It was a good expansion. But as I said, I think that there is, like, a pretty good amount of nostalgia there for me personally. Just because of, like, my whole, like, my life situation at that point. But,
see, that's
overall,
the thing.
I would rate them probably about the same.
The same? Okay. Wait, the way I did it?
Well, yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh,
shit.
Yeah,
okay.
somewhere around there.
Okay.
Besides, like, obviously, like, Vanilla would be my favorite. BC would be my second favorite. Like, Wrath my third favorite. I wasn't really a big fan of Wrath, but I liked it more than the other ones.
Wrath I liked just because, I mean, Wrath I got really into the whole, I just think the Lich King raids and everything. Yeah, the storyline, and then I really liked, I think one of the coolest raiding moments was when seeing the raid, or the world first kill of heroic Lich King. 25 man.
Oh, dude, Paragon! I watched that video like 5 times, man.
Dude,
like, I was so hyped for it.
You know that it was Paragon and maybe someone else was Paragon. That he was like "Uso tonto." Was that him?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was,
dude.
that was Paragon.
That was the fucking like 10 out of 10 video. I got so hyped for them. But it
was
was
just
because it
like-
was such a hard
yeah.
fight, right? It was so fucking difficult.
It was really, really hard. No guild beat it on 25 man before they implemented the buff. Like Paragon beat it with the 5% buff, and nobody else was even able to beat it with the 5% until like later on. So it was like one of those definitive. It was probably like, you know, like how some boss kills, like there's always something that kind of muddies the waters, like, oh, you know, who's really the best guild, etc. But Paragon came in there and they just beat that boss, and nobody else was able to do it until
They
the 10%
fucking
buff.
spanked it, dude.
And that was just it felt so good to just watch that video, and like the heroic Lich King, and you know, he had like 100 million health, which back then was insane. I don't know, it was just like the whole thing about it. Like I remember I was in programming class in community college, and I watched the first Lich King kill on like, you know, some like bootleg version of Twitch or something like that. And I remember that so clearly.
Wait,
And,
oh wait, you watched it live?
I watched it live.
Damn.
Yeah, I almost failed the class, but you know, I got to watch the Lich King. That's the one thing I do remember. And yeah, I mean, it was really, really cool. And I think that building up those villains, right, like somebody that like people want to kill, right, and I think that's something that they really need to do a good job at. I don't know, like it's one of the things, like a lot of, especially after like the success of Game of Thrones, I think that a lot of like storytelling, like I guess like, you know, games and everything, they go towards like morally gray characters, which are like you know, like Jaime Lannister in Game of Thrones, and you know, like all of the characters, like obviously you have like Jon Snow, right, which is pretty much like purely a good guy.
Yep.
But everywhere else is kind of everyone else like has in a way like redeeming features, and then also you can understand why they do what they do. And with Warcraft it's kind of the same thing, but like with Lich King was like possessed by like the helmet and everything, so it wasn't like entirely his fault that he was doing it, but everybody knew the Lich King was the bad guy and we had to get him.
Yep.
And I feel like
it was a goal. Everyone. Wait, did you not like that because it's like everyone knew?
No, I liked it. I thought it was good. Right?
Okay,
It definitely was. The same thing with like Sargeras, like up until the point that they changed it, right? Is like Sargeras, okay, this is Space Satan, we gotta get him. That's it.
Space Satan. That's exactly him.
Yeah, there you go. But
like
yeah,
now,
I thought the Lich King was really good.
With fucking with BFA coming out.
Yeah.
Just like you said, okay, we killed Titans and all this shit, and we've killed an old god or a couple. How many have we killed? I don't know.
You can't kill old gods.
Well, okay. Well, I guess what do you call it? You suppressed him or something?
Yeah, suppressed him.
Okay, so I mean, you have people
That's
are saying it's
because they're just gonna bring them back over and over. That's why I'm saying
pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly how it is. Isn't that how Illidan kind of came back too?
Yeah, basically, like Illidan's dead, and then you put him in jail, and now he's a good guy that's gonna save the world. Yeah.
I mean, shit, dude.
Yeah.
And you know, they might pull out Illidan, but they're gonna probably he's on cooldown right now. But
yes, he's on cooldown.
What about what happened to the dude who at the end of Lich King, the guy who decided to put the helmet on? Bolvar. You think he's ever gonna make a comeback?
That's the thing, is like they're making the Lich King morally gray. He's the fucking Lich King.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Come on, he's supposed to make everybody die, and you know, this is like, how is the Lich King gonna be like, oh yeah, we're working against Nah, man, I want to see the Lich King, like, he should always be like evil, right? I think it was like kind of, maybe it was a mistake to make Bolvar the Lich King. You know, they could have made somebody that was like more evil or like worse. Like they could have made like Sylvanas the Lich King, right? A Lich Queen, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that would have been more interesting. Who knows? Maybe they might do that now.
Maybe Sylvanas turning. I mean, I was talking to a dude, a lore master based god, and he was saying that the main villain is gonna be a old god. I just I forgot who it's gonna be.
N'Zoth.
N'Zoth. Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think that's who it's gonna be?
Probably. Yeah. So basically, here's what I think it's going to be. First tier is going to be like, okay, Alliance and a Horde, we don't like each other for whatever reason, right? Second tier is going to be Queen Ashara. And it's going to be kind of like Star Wars in a way. where like the first part of it is like, okay, you're fighting against Darth Vader, and that's Queen Ashara, and then you find out that actually Darth Sidious is behind everything,
Oh God.
and that's going to be N'Zoth. I think that's what's going to happen. So first tier will probably be like it's like this blood god Gahoon fat guy,
Yep.
and then second one is going to be Queen Ashara, then the third one is going to be the old guy. That's kind of what I'm expecting is going to happen.
Okay. 100%.
I would bet on it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And that
I
are
mean,
you okay
who
with
knows?
that though? You're fine with that?
I mean, like,
I mean, do you like the way that part of the lore is going?
so I don't really know. Like Queen Ashara, I don't know what they can do to build up villains to be more compelling than they already are, right? Because like Queen Ashara is a big part of the lore, but nobody really cares, right? I mean, she just shows up occasionally and then she's gone, and that's about it. Like I think that it could be compelling, but I feel like they should do a lot more to like create new characters in the lore rather than like resurrecting like with Illidan or just like kind of tapping on old ones, right? Just they need to have new characters in the lore that can that they can be the Lich King in like 5 years, right? That people care about.
Yeah.
And it's like Khadgar, I think, is a good example of them doing it correctly, right? Khadgar was in the lore before, but he was just like kind of just like some random guy that just sat around. And now he's like kind of almost your guide in the game, and I like that.
Do you think that's actually very interesting? What if they are trying to make the new Lich King? You think it's been like that for a while? That's been their goal. Like they're trying to build someone up to maybe be to his level, or at least make you feel like this is someone you need to defeat, or someone everyone's gonna rally up behind.
So if it was going to be anybody, it would probably be Sylvanas, right?
Yep.
And that's what would make sense to me. I actually don't know what that would be. Like, I think that would be really interesting, but also I think Blizzard, like, a lot of those stories are kind of the same thing. Like Sylvanas is a very complicated character, so I don't know if they would actually make her into being the Lich King. Like if they did that, that would be really cool.
Well, not even the Lich King, but just like a massive fucking character that everyone needs to band together to kill.
I think a lot of people don't like Sylvanas. Like in general, a lot of people don't like Sylvanas, and it seems like what they're doing in BFA is they're making Sylvanas more unlikable. Just by like her actions that seem kind of illogical, etc., and making her like kind of act more crazy. So if they do that, then yeah, maybe they are setting her up to be a raid boss. I don't know how I'd really feel about that, because like Sylvanas I think is a very good character, but at the same time, like maybe that's what would make her a good villain. That would make her compelling.
Yeah.
But again, like she's also a Warcraft 3 character, right? I mean, that's kind of like what it all comes back to, is that all of these major villains are all Warcraft 3. Garrosh is an exception. I guess like the old gods are an exception, but all the other ones are mainly like Warcraft 3 that people care about.
Yeah, all the OGs.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of it can be a little bit boring, right? Because like you worry that they're gonna run out of people, basically.
No, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
like, who else are you gonna care about, or you have to wait and then slowly get drip fed lore and information about the different here, like Anduin now. I know a lot of people don't like Anduin. Do you like Anduin?
He's a bitch.
Okay.
He's a bit. Yeah. All right, let's be real. Do you?
No, I don't like him at all.
Okay, good.
No. That's why I said he's kind of like a Tommen type. He's kind of like he's a shit. Like he doesn't seem like a king. It's like, okay, let someone else do this.
Yeah, it's like, where's your dad? It's kind of it is kind of like weird that he's the king now. I feel like I don't know who else really would have been king, right? It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Like if they could have made somebody else king, but at the same time, like I mean, Anduin, it doesn't really make me feel proud playing Alliance. I mean, Sylvanas is kind of the same thing. It's like Sylvanas is just in it for herself. And
wait, that's a good question. Why do you play Alliance?
Because my friend wanted to play Alliance because he wanted to be a paladin.
Oh my god.
And so in
Wait,
order to be a paladin,
Yeah, that's a bullshit excuse, Asmongold. There's race change and
What?
faction change now. Okay, you can change.
you're right. You're right. But I've already invested all this time into Alliance. I have all of my gold here, all of my friends here. My mom plays Alliance. All of my friends are on Alliance.
Oh
I
yeah,
know where all the flight paths are on
True,
Alliance.
true.
There's no way I'm gonna change that.
you're
now.
Alliance for life. I respect that. You're Alliance to the core.
I mean, the thing is, like, the faction pride. I don't care. You know, like,
Yeah, I
it's,
don't care either. Honestly, it's just like
it's
whatever.
like some people are red. I have horde characters too. It's not a big thing. Like, there are actually people that are legitimately angry that I play Alliance, and it's like, this is a game, right?
I'm not
like, I mean,
surprised.
if I have to tell them it's a game, that's a problem.
That's what you have to be worried about. Those people.
Yeah.
I have people who get mad because I decide to play a specific game that apparently they don't like. So it's probably the same thing with factions.
Oh yeah.
People get really into it.
Well, especially like
Some people
I can
probably
only
don't
imagine.
watch because you're Alliance. They're like,
I-
fuck this scum.
Yeah. They have no honor.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are like that. Like WoW has like all these micro communities, and I don't know any game that's like that. You have people
But
that
that's
like,
the
oh,
beauty
I
of
only
it, right?
PvE. Oh, I only PvP. It is, except for whenever Blizzard has to micromanage. all
Yeah,
these
then
micro
it's
communities.
like, yeah, no, 100%. But maybe because that's why the game is so goddamn big.
I think that there is like, there's room to say that. I definitely think that there's room to say that. But it's kind of, it's a back and forth, right? I think that one thing that they do a lot is they try to make the game better for one micro community, then it makes it worse for all the other ones, right?
Yep.
And I'd like it if they just designed the game like back in BC. It felt like they were just straight up just trying to design a badass game, right? A good
Yeah.
game that's rewarding without making it like, okay, well, what about people that only do this? And what about people that only do that? And people, that, they just like, okay, how can we make a game that is cool, that's awesome, that's rewarding, that people are gonna like? And now it just seems like everything is like kind of catering to these different interest groups.
I can see that. Do you think they need to focus more?
I think they should look at the game as World of Warcraft rather than looking at it as like PvP, PvE, etc. And they should make all the different aspects of the game function together and be necessary and rewarding and fun.
You know
and
what?
Not necessarily like let people isolate themselves.
Asmongold, you need to get in on the dev side of them. You need to somehow we got to get in contact with Blizzard. And do you think, actually, you know what? Before I even say this, because you might be like, nah, I don't want to do that. Would you want to do that? Do you think you have ideas that benefit the game in the long run?
I don't know.
Well, actually,
I don't know what the long run is.
That's true.
Like-
That's true. I mean, but do you think you have, or you know what the players want, or what would be okay if they introduce like, oh, we're gonna do this or this, and the majority say this, but you could argue for the other side. If it made sense.
It's an interesting discussion to have, right? Because if you ask people, a lot of people would say that they want all the best gear in the game, right?
Yeah.
And if you gave that to them, they would just quit the game. It's like having cheat codes in GTA or whatever. Like you just play it for like a few hours and then it's like, that was fun, I'm done. Giving people what they want isn't really important. I think it's more important to give people what they need. And would I be a good developer? I don't know anything about coding. As I said, I failed that programming class.
No coding. Just like decisions, design decisions. Like Titan forging, that type of shit, like the pros, the cons, how you can change it to benefit both parties.
I would make micro changes,
Okay.
and I would also like let Classic come out and see like how players react to Classic, because Classic is a way to like look at the current iteration of the game and also like the original game and have like that juxtaposition in 2018, right? And you can't look at it, you can't be like, oh, that's rose-tinted goggles or anything. You just look at those two games right next to each other and you say, what do people like right now? And I think that'd be a really good way to educate how to move the game forward. And if people really like that kind of stuff that maybe Blizzard thought they wouldn't like, then they could add it into the game. I think it would be more incremental, right? I wouldn't be like, I don't like LFR, for example.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like, yeah, I'm going to take LFR out on day one, because there's nothing to replace it with. Like that, you don't just do that. It's kind of like if somebody, I was gonna say like cutting off somebody's arm would be good, but I actually don't know anything about medical stuff, so it's probably wrong. But what I am saying is like, just cutting it off like right at the beginning like wouldn't be the best idea. The best idea obviously would be to, look at what players want and try to figure out like how to move the game forward in a direction that's fulfilling to players, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean taking things out of the game or putting things in the game or just changing them. I think making things change incrementally would probably be the smartest way of doing it, and that's what I would probably do if I was a dev.
Okay.
Like or just giving players like I think another thing is like giving like people a sense of control. I think that's a big thing for me, right? Because like as I said, and I think this is what you were saying too, like with the societal structure and everything.
Yeah.
Like whenever people can just get really good gear by being lucky,
Yep.
that sounds a lot like real life, you know?
No, it's 100%.
Yeah, exactly. So I
life
think it
is
kinda,
RNG.
Yeah. God damn, dude, that's a lot, man. That's a lot.
It is. No, man, 100%.
It's true. It is so true, though. Like, I mean, everything is just random in a lot of ways. I mean, obviously you work towards things, and people that are in there swinging get more chances and more chances at that and everything. Yeah, sure. But for the most part, yeah.
You need a Titan Forge harder, Asmongold.
Yeah. I needed some Titan Forged hair. Like, I'm going bald. It's completely RNG. I had no control over that.
I've seen the baldness. I'm heading in that direction too. I'm good at hiding. I'm good at masking it. I promise. All right. Maybe one day if we ever meet, I'll show you my head. Okay.
All right. Okay, dude.
You might be balding.
Yeah.
You're balding at a faster rate. Okay. But I will be there.
Yeah.
And maybe there is a cure.
Well, at least you have like the theme of not using a face cam, right? So they don't really, they can't make the joke while you're right there, and they just say like, "Hey, man, you look more bald than usual today. What's been happening? Stressed out or anything?"
That's true.
So,
that's true.
Yeah. I gotta hear it all the time, but
at the same time, you don't think you're ever gonna go bald, and then it just hits you. So you know what? You can make fun of Asmongold, but then one day you're gonna look in the mirror and be like, "Wait, what?"
That's the
going
thing,
on?
dude. Is I've got these like 12-year-olds from like Sweden or something like that watching my stream, making fun of me.
Oh my
It's like
God.
by the time they're like 20, they're probably gonna look worse than I am.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I think it's funny, because it's like they're laughing and it's like, yeah, it's gonna happen to you too. How about that? Or something. Speaking of that,
what's up?
Actually, this is a kind of tangential. Did you play Bless Online?
You mean Bless Omega Lol Endline?
No, I mean Bless Offline.
Oh, Bless Offline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting experience. I mean, what do you say? I mean, for me, I went in it and I was like, I don't know shit about this game. I'm in the mood for an MMO. It'll surprise me. And it seemed like it was dated. Like it didn't feel like, oh shit, this is something from 2018. It felt like something from when like SWTOR launched or some shit, you know?
You know what? It was out in Asia or something like that for like 7 years. So that's actually a very good like judgment. Yeah, I see. I never really played it at all like before it came to NA. To me, did you play Black Desert?
I did. The thing is, Black Desert was cool, but I didn't like the overarching, like there wasn't like a full out Trinity. If you took Black Desert and added like WoW mechanics to it in the sense of
That'd
like,
be good,
yeah, if you did that, I'd play that shit, you know?
Yeah, I would too.
Where it's like there's
liked it a lot.
PvP, PvE raids, that type of combat, those type of classes, those graphics. Oh, the graphics are still fucking incredible and shit. So
I love Black Desert, and there's a lot of things I liked about it. Did you ever get to the point where you'd like upgrade jewelry?
Wasn't I never got to that point, but I heard about it. Isn't it like crazy fucking RNG?
So stupid, dude. It was so stupid. So you would take 2 rings and you would put them together, and there was a 50% chance, even if you had all of your stacks of like luck all set up, a 50% chance that your 2 rings would just get deleted.
Are you
like
serious?
they're gone. Like the first time I did it, I thought it was an actual bug because I couldn't believe that the game would actually work that way.
So you can get so fucked in the game on an upgrade.
Well, imagine like spending like hours, like weeks. Like you spend 1 week to farm one ring, 1 week to farm another ring.
Oh
You put
my
them together,
God.
and that's 2 weeks down the fucking drain.
Oh
Like,
my God.
I would be so upset. And at that point, I was like, yeah, I'm probably gonna quit.
I
But-
feel like, who makes these decisions? That's just scary to even think about.
People on another part of the world, like they do games much differently over there. I get it, but honestly, Bless Online seemed like a shittier version of Black Desert. Like that's really what it was.
Yeah. I could see that. Maybe the differences between them are obviously you need to experience the very specific. Like you gotta go and queue up for this. You gotta do that. Very specific changes. From the outside, it does look like a shittier Black Desert Online.
100%, dude.
But I mean, yeah, it failed in 2 regions. I don't know. I'm surprised they even had enough money to even launch or try again in a 3rd. There must have been like a publisher.
Of course they did, because they're selling the game for $150.
Oh yeah, for the crazy founders.
Yeah.
Oh fuck that. That's insane.
What a clown show, man. Like, imagine spending $150 for a game that doesn't even work. It's just, it's pretty funny to think.
And you know, when I played it, I did see the people who spent the 150 because you could see them. They had like the armor sets and shit and the specific mounts I think you get for 150.
Yeah,
so you know.
you got a special. Yeah, there was a lot of people that I played with, some that had it too. I kind of feel bad for them, especially if they're only going to play it on one day. But I guess, you know, it's an expensive lesson to learn.
Exactly. Do you think there will be an MMO to replace WoW or a WoW 2?
So the next. All right, so I think WoW 2. I don't know. I think it's a possibility, but
I like
also,
that you say
WoW,
that. That makes me happy that you think it's a possibility.
Yo, dude, what if they did this? What if they had Warcraft 4 and then
God.
WoW 2?
Dude, I'm taking my pants off.
That's I know, dude.
Oh my God.
Man. I would love that so much.
I mean,
like,
I wouldn't even, if it's like a brand new world, like you said, they reset the world of in Final Fantasy, they're like, okay, it's a new timeline or whatever the fuck they did. Even if they did that and did a Warcraft 4, I will follow it.
I wouldn't complain. I'd just be like, yeah, whatever. That's
exactly.
fine.
Yeah, that would be totally fine. WoW 2, I mean, see, the thing is, I don't know if there's always gonna, the market.
Yeah.
Is there, games are getting more casual, I guess you could say, or more, well, actually, are they? It depends on online games. Online
I think
RPG.
that to an extent they are, right?
Yeah.
I think that because games reach such a larger audience now, and there's a lot
With
more
console.
people that are willing to play a casual game. Yeah, especially with console, etc.
Like a WoW 2 would launch on console. Guaranteed.
I don't know. I mean, like, how big are, like, see, that's the thing, is I feel like consoles are really big for like kids, right? Because kids can't really, put together a whole computer, etc. Right? It's at least it's harder, and it's harder to do rather than just getting mom to buy you an Xbox for Christmas.
Yep.
So I don't know. Like, in my opinion, I think the next big MMO will happen in VR. That's my opinion. Because
I hope not. Personally, I really hope not.
I hate VR.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's stupid. The goggles are stupid. The whole idea is stupid. Like, I didn't like the Wii. I don't like waving my arms around. I like sitting there like a couch potato and playing the game. The only thing I do is I move my hands up and down whenever I get mad in the game. That's it.
I played there's a Orbis VR. It's essentially it's an MMO on VR. I get like a headache if I play too much VR, so I just started getting a headache and stuff like that. But like just the traditional mouse keyboard is like the way to go for an MMO. I don't think VR. I think VR MMO could be the next thing, and it's a high possibility. But I don't want it to be. I want it to be.
I don't want it to be either.
I want it to be an amazing mouse and keyboard game.
I want it to be something that has like the combat of Black Desert, the graphics of Witcher 3, and the world of World of Warcraft. That's what I would like to see.
You think? I think one of the biggest points is the world of Warcraft.
I think it matters a lot. I mean, it really does, because people are like, same with the Lich King, right? Like people would, I mean, they resubbed. They're like, oh man, the Lich King is out. Like, that was cool in itself. It wasn't like, oh, new raid is out. No, the Lich King is out specifically. Same with Illidan and Deathwing to a lesser extent.
Yeah, man. Like, there's so much lore. There's the history, the all the characters, and shit, man, everything's so established.
Exactly. I mean, it's really hard for
It's
like
hard
a
to-
new game to come in there. Like, I mean, look at Elder Scrolls. I mean, Elder Scrolls had a hard time, and
they're
they have an established game too.
Yep.
Yeah, they're very established. Like, I think that like, how do you feel about like sci-fi MMOs? Like, I've never really been a big fan.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. When I play an MMO, I need fantasy. And
I
you
want to
know,
see like swords and dragons and wizards and shit.
exactly, dude. 100
Yeah.
fucking percent. Like, fuck sci-fi. I love sci-fi. Like, if done right, I love Battlestar Galactica, all that shit. I love
Yeah.
it. But when it comes to my MMOs, and when it comes if someone's like Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, I'm the Lord of the Rings type. I need
That's
fantasy.
right, dude.
I need
That's right.
dragons. I need fucking
That's right.
crazy armor that glows and shit. When you have swords, shields, axes, like that is where it's cool. When you have pew pew lasers, get the fuck out of here.
It's just too much. It's silly, man.
Did you
Like,
play
I don't know
SWTOR?
what it is about it. Hell no, because I don't like the sci-fi MMOs. I saw it. I was like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
Like, I saw other people play it, and it looked okay, right? I mean, like, obviously it could certainly be worse, but for
Yeah.
me personally, like, it was never really something I was super excited about, or I really cared about a lot. It was just kind of one of those things that you would just do, I guess.
No. I see what you're saying. I mean, I was into it just because I got into it because it was everyone. You know when like a shit ton of MMOs came out and they were like, oh shit, is this gonna be the WoW killer? Oh
The
shit,
Rift,
is this gonna be
Aeon,
it?
Terra. You
Yep.
remember that? What was that? Like 2011 or 2012?
There was like a
Oh
huge
my
gap of
God.
years where it was constant new MMO, and then it stopped.
Yeah, it was not good at all.
And
Like,
It was always
They
like,
all
is this
suck.
the WoW killer? Is this it? And I tried every single one trying to make myself experience what I
just so
felt
you
with
could
WoW.
see like what the other options were.
And then you just always just go back to fucking WoW, man.
It's like, yeah, you can never get back from it. Like, I felt kind of the same way. I really liked playing what do you call it? I like playing Black Desert a lot,
Yeah.
but there was so much of a time investment that I really just didn't have. I couldn't do it. And
I don't blame you, dude.
There's a lot of games like that.
Did you hit max level?
Well, there was no max level. So the way that it worked is that you were able to, you just couldn't get to max level. You would just keep leveling. I got up to like 55, which was kind of like the soft cap there.
Yeah.
And at that point, there were no like monsters that would really give you a lot of experience. But at the same time, I was just like, I don't know. It just, the thing is, I got into a really good guild, and there was just like so much expectations. Like, oh, I had to be online for this. I had to be online for that. And then I was trying to do my stream. I was trying to do my YouTube videos. I just didn't have time. Like, and I would rather not play the game than be like mediocre at it. And I know that might sound kind of weird, but that's always kind of how I've been. I wanted to just like go full.
You
want to
go all out. No, that's not
yeah.
weird at all, bro. Like, you want a main game and you want to fully invest your time in a main game. You're the type of person who likes having a main game.
Well, are you like that? Because like obviously since you stream variety, I mean it must be kind of hard to do that, right?
It is hard because it's hard because I'm starting to go a bit more. Dude, I've been doing this shit for like 7 fucking years now. Like,
it's been a lot. Yeah, dude. You've been around forever.
It's really hard to stick with a game, and you know, it's not only because of streaming, it's also my fault. But I miss having one game to always go to. But
kind of like PUBG was like that for a while, and it's kind of lost its steam.
I mean, the thing is, well, this is when I say a main game, I mean I'm comparing this shit to like playing a game for years. PUBG, I'm over it for the most part, and I visit it here and there, but that lasted less than a year. Fortnite, I'm essentially over it. That lasted less than a year. But like the days of, oh shit, I can get into this game for 6 years plus, or like a WoW or whatever the fuck, you know, it's not. I miss that feeling because it's like always, it's like a hobby.
Like that again?
No, I don't think so.
I think that the only way that we'll have them is in the capacity that WoW is, right? With expansions and like subs and everything like that, because that's the only way that they're going to make money.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad though that like everybody, like all these systems and all that are just completely built around money, right? And I understand it. Like, I mean, obviously I get it. It's not like I'm dumb or, you know, I'm like delusional. Yeah, I'm sure, but it's kind of sad. It definitely is.
It is sad, but And I don't know if anything's gonna change because I mean, you know, all the people who have been vocal and all these people you know, and all these people who have been gamers and everything, we've all grown up, and I wonder how many of these people are still gamers. And I bet the majority of them all are still gamers, even though they have lives and whatever the fuck. All the people you grew up with, I think they still play video games, but that makes me wonder because we have now grown up in a generation or a group of people who where gaming is a lot more. It's not Pac-Man anymore. It's fucking big ass titles, like massive games that make
like
way more money.
I mean, they pay people just to do motion tracking.
Yep.
That's ridiculous. I mean, you think about how much
insane.
effort and time that takes. Like, yeah, they're really like games now are like much different than games how they used to be.
Like people,
and I don't really know how to feel about that.
And I feel like because we're growing up and everything, if you want to call it millennials or anything, it's more intertwined in our lives, I guess, and we can take it more seriously or relate to it a lot more seriously. And I wonder if that influence and us taking over are the people who, you know, because everyone who did grow up, who knows where they ended up. Maybe they ended up in some sort of software area or whatever the fuck, and they will change, or what they grew up with, whether it was MMO or whatever the fuck, maybe they will push. What I'm trying to say is I'm curious how with us and our generation growing up and everyone we know getting jobs and stuff, and however successful they are, how they will change gaming in the future. Because these people who have been in gaming, and how the devs when we were kids are going to retire eventually, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're going to move on. So our ideals and what we think of, I wonder how that will change the gaming landscape. I don't know if I said that correctly, but I hope you know what I mean.
I think that the main problem with that is I think that what devs want to do is probably different than what companies want to do. Because I think a lot of developers probably want to do, in a lot of ways, probably what we want to do. But that might not be what's going to make the most money. And at the end of the day, they're a company that's publicly traded, and they have the stock obligation, right?
Yep.
The profit obligation, and that's what they do. And it's sad that we're in that situation, but that's where we're at. I mean, they're doing it for money. I mean, and this isn't a bad thing. Like, doing it for money isn't a bad thing at all. But at the same time, whenever money is, you know, overcomes and I guess like takes precedent over, you know, creative choice and, you know, the satisfaction that people get out of it, I feel like that's a really like dangerous road to go down.
Mm-hmm. And like I was saying, and you agreed with, it's getting worse. So
yeah, I think it is.
And you can see it with WoW too. I mean, whether it's Activision, whether it's fucking Tencent, whatever the fuck, it is getting worse.
Yeah.
And
every little bit, man.
I don't know, man.
At the end of the day, though, I mean, like, at least WoW, like, I mean, because one thing, like, so the pay to win, right, with a lot of games, right, pay to win. Have you noticed that they've been changing it to pay for convenience?
Pay for convenience, yeah, or like pay to speed up.
Isn't that a bunch of horse shit?
Oh yeah, fuck
like,
that.
It's so ridiculous. Like, just don't lie. You know what I mean? That's what I hate. Is like that you think that you're fooling somebody.
Yeah.
Like, pay for convenience, and you gain experience faster, and the game is completely built around gaining experience.
Yep.
Bro, that's pay to win. Like, oh, you get.
They just
you
mask
spend
it.
less money on repairs. Yeah, they're masking it. They're lying. It's so insane to me, and I all that kind of stuff is just, it's so annoying. I feel like games, I mean, because a lot of like gamers and everything, like they're either like kids, they're not really looking at it from that perspective, and then just buy into it, man.
Mm-hmm.
They just buy into it. It's
because
awful.
The thing is, it's being planted in that it's the norm as well.
Right.
So
exactly,
I wonder, because it is the norm,
it's like, of course there's a cash shop.
You're gonna need those 12-year-olds to have a voice eventually, right?
Yeah.
The ones that are growing up and everything. So it's like, do they realize what the fuck they're doing?
I don't think that they do.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I mean, and also it's like, you wonder if that was us, right? Would we have been the same? Would we have just been like, oh yeah, whatever, who cares?
Exactly.
And it's hard really to say.
And it is hard to say because we didn't have that shit. It was more like, here, play the fucking game, and this is everything.
Yeah, play the game, and that's a...
Before, it wasn't spending money.
Yeah.
it was, oh, do this shit and then you
spend
get
time.
the good stuff. Yeah, exactly. You spend time.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I mean, like, I just feel like every game now has like its own like cash shop, and you know, it's like cash shops are just kind of expected, you know, and there's like cosmetic things that are just kind of expected.
Yeah,
And
like it's
really
very
wish-
normal. It's very normal.
Yeah, yeah. And like to not want that is like almost to be, you know, like just dumb or something like that. And I don't know, it's just or delusional or unrealistic.
And then that's actually like kind of interesting to think about, and it's dumb because it's like, oh, so you gimp your game by making us do what you also consider boring as fuck, devs or whatever, for a while.
The worst part about it
What's
is
that?
it gives them a profit incentive to lock that shit behind a paywall, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're paying for convenience, that gives them an incentive to make it to where to make it less convenient, right? I mean that because then they'll get more people to pay money, right? And if their goal is to make money, all you have to do is follow the money, and they're going to make things less convenient.
Yeah.
And that's the scariest thing about it. And that's what I think a lot of games do, is they make things take longer for arbitrary reasons to get people to pay for these different little advancement systems.
Exactly. And it's like, oh, you're gonna make me do this boring shit for 20% longer unless I
Yeah.
spend this money.
Yeah, I have to give you $20 a month to play your game faster. It's just like, what is this?
And you're right, you can't blame the devs because it's true, because oh my god, dude, this DBM horn. It's like,
Oh, it's like blowing it off. Oh, jeez.
I swear that's new. But that's like you're right with the sense of like devs and everything. Like they
Yeah.
probably want the best for their game, and at the end of the day, it does come to the people with the money, the investors, the overall company, the Activision, not Blizzard anymore. It's more Activision Blizzard. It's been like that for a while, but more so does it show it.
It was a little bit odd. As soon as Activision like partnered or bought Blizzard or whatever, they that was like right whenever they did the store thing. They did the first store mount.
Was it? Did
That
it line up?
stupid horse.
It did line up?
It was something like it was pretty close.
Oh,
I
damn.
remember like thinking that in the back of my mind, and like back then I didn't really consider, like I don't want to say that 100% because it was so long ago, but that's certainly what I remember.
Oh dear. Damn, man.
Yeah.
You don't want to believe it, but it's true. And
It's yeah.
you know about Tencent and shit? Do you know about them?
No, what's that?
So like Tencent is essentially, think of like, okay, who do you think is like the biggest? Let's say, okay, Activision essentially is massive, right? They own so much shit, whether it's Call of Duty or Blizzard now, and like, oh look, Call of Duty's now on the Blizzard launcher. That's weird as fuck to even look at.
Yeah.
Tencent is China's like biggest gaming company, or think of Tencent as being China's Activision, but by
Okay.
like a factor of like 100,000 bigger. Whereas
Oh, wow.
they own PUBG Mobile, they own Fortnite. I heard they own a bit of Epic actually. They own, I think they also own a little bit of Activision. They basically own any game company you can think of. They own a massive portion of, and or
Wow.
have their hands in a massive portion. They also own League of Legends as well. And so like everything you see, have you played any of like any type of Chinese game or whatever, or like these mobile games that have crazy microtransactions and shit?
Fuck no, I haven't played those.
But you've heard about them at least, right?
Oh, yes,
and
I've
like
heard about them.
seeing the type of shit they do. Tencent is essentially the owner of all that, and they're so fucking big and they have so much fucking money that it doesn't matter, because they just come and just flop their massive fucking penis on the ground and just buy companies out, and then just
And they
whatever
just tell
the
them
fuck.
what to do.
Yeah, and just pay to win the living shit out of it. I heard that, you know, PUBG Mobile, they had devs working on
Yeah.
I heard they make more money on the mobile version of PUBG than anything else now. And it's also because, what do you call it? When the mobile PUBG version was coming out, what they did was they had devs
Yeah.
working 24/7 on 3 shifts to make the game on mobile in like 6 months or
Holy
less,
shit.
just so they can
Wow.
push it.
That's insane. Like, well, mobile gaming nowadays, like it's so big.
Yeah.
And to me, like I never really liked Like I don't have any games on my phone. Like I legitimately have no games on my phone.
I don't
play any
either.
games
I've
on my
never
phone.
gotten into it.
Yeah. It's just never been a thing. Like I think the one time I had like Snake on like my original like Nokia phone or something like that. But besides that, no, nothing. No reason for it.
You had a
And so to see,
Nokia?
hell yeah, dude. Like I mean, like we were animals, man. Like if I dropped that, it was fine. And I had like this other flip phone. I remember I had this flip phone, and it was like really, really small. And finally, I never liked it. And finally, I remember I lost a duel in front of Ironforge, and it was like beeping for low battery. And I took it and I fucking tore it apart, and I throw both sides of it like a Hulk on like each side of my room. And I only
And it
know where one
survived?
side is left. No,
Oh god, okay.
no, it's done, man. It's done.
I had the Palm Pre. Do you remember that
What's
one?
that?
Oh, you don't remember?
No.
Oh,
No.
never mind. You gotta see it. It was like a weird fucking phone. It was from
I
Sprint.
remember I always wanted like the Motorola Razr, but my mom would never buy me
Dude.
one.
Yeah,
You
the
remember that?
Razor and the
Yeah.
Sony Ericsson I thought were wicked sexy.
Yeah, it's like
But-
if you saw those, you're like, yo, okay, this kid's cool or whatever. And it was like dumb, but you know how kids are. I mean, like, it's the same. It's like what I was saying earlier. It's like the status stuff, right? I mean,
It
that's
is.
what people like. That's what they work for. I mean, status means a lot, and I think that like, I think game developers they'd benefit a lot to just kind of embrace that rather than pretend like it's not real.
Yep.
So have you like? So you're probably gonna play until BFA? Is that what you're thinking?
I'm gonna be on and off until BFA comes
Yeah.
out because it's
Okay.
like, okay, I'm getting gear and stuff, but then it's like there's nothing to do with the gear just yet. I'm gonna do the Mage Tower.
Okay.
Because is it difficult or are people exaggerating?
It's not like so. Basically, if you're like 930 plus, it's gonna be just like learn the mechanics, do the mechanics, and it's not gonna be an issue.
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna be on and off. I mean,
Yeah.
just casually, just making sure I'm all ready, making sure my bag's ready. I got gold and everything. You know, just the usual expansion prep. Read a little bit on the Discord, class Discord and stuff to make sure I know
Right.
everything about the classes and shit. And then, that's kind of it. And then definitely play when it comes out, and maybe do like 24-hour and just try to quickly go from 110 to 120. And
Oh shit! I think that you'll probably be able to do that in 10. Honestly.
in 10
we
hours,
did
really?
Probably like yeah, like 10 to 15 easily.
Oh shit!
And,
How long? Do you know how
that-
long was Legions?
Uh,
I want to
Legion-
say it was like 18, 20.
I think well, we got server first for like our leveling group, and we
Oh,
were
damn.
really fast. I don't remember like about how long it took. I know like the fastest guy did it in like 5 or 6 hours, something like that.
Jesus.
I think it took us like 8 or 9.
I mean, I'm gonna
we're
go
not- we
fast
weren't that
while
efficient.
pacing myself in the sense of like, WoW is like, you still want to experience like everything while you're leveling.
Well, yeah, I mean, because leveling, like, oh wow, you're gonna get there one day before everybody else. Who really cares, right? I mean, I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, some people take leveling really, really seriously. I actually haven't even like. Do you have the beta for BFA?
I've honestly never played a beta for an WoW expansion. I just wait until it comes out, so
Really?
it's like fresh as fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably the first expansion that I'm doing that with. Like,
Oh,
every
really?
other beta, like, yeah, I haven't really played it a lot. Like,
I think it
just
will make it
hasn't
more
really-
exciting for you, dude.
I think it will, and it'll be like more engaging and everything, and that way, like, kind of, people can kind of experience that with me because I'll probably like stream release. Probably everybody's gonna stream release.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm much more excited about Classic, to be completely honest. Like that's
Have they said
that's
anything
kind of like
about
what I
it?
really hope for.
Ever
no,
since
there's.
the...
Well, they've said basically like they filled the slots for the people
development
to
team?
to do it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the development. But I don't really know. Like, I mean, who knows when it's gonna come out? Like, I would probably expect to see Classic out in maybe like 2019.
2019?
Maybe
Okay.
2020. Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool if they released it on like the 19th anniversary of WoW.
You think
But,
BlizzCon, they're going to say anything?
Do you go to BlizzCon?
I've never been. I heard it is the best, but I've never been.
It is the best. Like I've been to DreamHack before. I haven't really been to a lot of conventions, but BlizzCon was actually really, really fun last year. And
Okay.
I enjoyed it a lot. I would say that they're probably going to have like this BlizzCon for WoW will be centered around like, the patch like after the original, like the first BFA patch.
Yeah.
And then it'll be like the second raid tier, etc. And the Queen of Shara stuff. Then they'll probably talk a lot about Classic. I think it'll be focused a lot around Classic, and we might actually see my personal, like, what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to re-release Warcraft 3 as a phone game.
Oh, I could
yeah.
I could see that actually.
I think it's really possible because they bought King, right? Which is like another phone developer, like phone game developer.
They did recently?
Well, it was like a couple of years ago at this point. But
did they do the WoW app and shit with like I wonder.
I actually don't. I don't know, but I do feel like they'll like. I don't think that's a bad thing though. Like I really don't think like making Warcraft 3 as a phone game is bad, right? As long as it's not like bullshit, I mean, obviously it's like pay to win or whatever. Like, yeah, that sucks. But if they just did it as like a phone game that people can take part in, like that'd be good because it would get more people into Warcraft too.
Yeah.
Like into WoW.
I never actually minded the whole. I thought it was kind of cool how you could do when I really got into Legion, how you could just use the phone and like send people on missions and shit when you were out.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was that bad. Did you see that as a shitty thing or was like, oh, this is getting
I saw
weird?
The content is fundamentally shitty. Like
yes,
obviously
yes,
like that type of content is not really what the game should be about. And I feel like in WoD they focus too much on like phone game content basically. But fundamentally,
agree.
No, it's fine.
Yeah,
There's
fundamentally.
nothing wrong with it at all.
And then the content was kind of just bullshit. It did feel very
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, I'm just doing this because I have to, and it's like,
Yeah, okay, logging on and doing your chores. It's like,
Yeah.
Why are you doing chores in a video game for? It's a little bit silly.
Oh my.
Yeah,
But-
I don't know. Like, I'm excited. Like, I want the game to be good. Like, I know that I'll never have the same experience that I used to in like vanilla and like Burning Crusade. I mean, none of us will that like grew up doing that. But I just want the game to be fun, and I also want it to give people the same like satisfaction that I got out of it. Right? I think that at this point it would be a best case scenario.
Yeah. I mean, I'm optimistic. I'm looking forward to it. Like every single time a new WoW expansion comes out, I'm just like, fuck yeah, I get to play WoW again. Because I know I'm going to enjoy it. I don't think there's ever been a launch of a WoW expansion where I'm just like, fuck this. Or I just wasn't into it. So
It's always fun on releases. Like even even like I was thinking about like Bless Online, whenever we were playing and like everybody was they were all happy and like excited because it's a new MMO. I felt like one of those like mad scientists that knows the world is going to end because I know the game's just going to die in a couple of days. But like just like looking at everybody's, they're so happy and oh wow, we're in this new game and everything.
that's why,
It was
man.
kind of funny to see.
Because you know what, man? Everyone is craving a new MMO.
They are.
And that's
I
why
think a lot of people really want it.
that's why I was kind of like, but see, the thing is, nothing has been able to capture a lot of, or the mass majorities.
No, and I think MMOs,
feelings.
you need to have like that huge audience, right? Because
Yeah.
nobody wants to play an MMO that nobody else plays, right?
Yep. You want to play the best, or
The biggest,
that's how
the
I
best
am.
MMO.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I want to play the biggest and the best, and some people are like, "Well, I play Final Fantasy or whatever the fuck." That's cool. I wish
Wrong.
I was like that, but you're wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Wrong. And yeah, I don't. I'm sure dozens of people enjoy Final Fantasy, but I'm not one of them.
Exactly, man. Me too. But
Yeah, eventually, like, I don't know.
fucking WoW, man. It ruined us. It ruined us because it was so good. Or it ruined every other game because it hit everything
You
perfectly.
go back and it's like, this isn't like WoW. Why isn't this like WoW? The jumping's not like WoW. I remember I played Guild Wars like 2 minutes into the game. Not 2 minutes, like an hour. Because like the first thing I tried to do was hit the space bar and nothing happened. I was like, what's the point of this? Why did they not have that?
Did you not like Guild Wars?
As I said, I quit the game. Like I quit because this was like back in like 2006.
Yeah.
And I asked myself, I was like, why am I playing this game whenever I could be playing WoW?
Pretty
And
much.
I just logged off and that was it. I never logged back on again. Guild Wars 2, it basically seemed like WoW, but the same thing pretty much. And I just wasn't really too hyped for it. Did you play that or not?
I mean, I liked the world versus world, and my favorite was the UI.
Do what?
The UI.
Oh yeah, the UI I think was like it was pretty clean, especially like compared to WoW.
Yeah,
Like obviously
I like the
WoW has that problem.
cleanliness, but like the gameplay. See, the problem with fucking Guild Wars was it didn't have a trinity, which I didn't like. And on top of the fact that I need a trinity in my MMOs,
They
tank,
always
healers,
try to
DPS.
reinvent the wheel.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what I
like
hate.
no. You
Just
need
have the
that.
healer, have the tank, have the DPS. You're fine. All right, let's go.
Perfect.
You know, it
Yeah.
doesn't need to be everything. Like you don't need to like every fantasy game like doesn't need to like just go with the Lord of the Rings core concepts that people view as like dwarves and everything. Just go with that and move forward rather than trying to do this all, you know, completely different. Like, oh, you're special, you're new. It's like, all right.
Yeah, it's like everyone that's established. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need to reinvent that. Do other stuff that makes your shit unique. But
Right, yeah, just like iterate and make the current model better because that's what people are used to too.
it's crazy though, man. Shit.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully
But
it'll be good. I don't know, man. Like, I'm down to like play, like WoW at some point, especially in like BFA. You play Horde, right?
yeah, I play a horde, so you're gonna be your alliance. So I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I have a couple of Horde characters, and like, if you ever do
Okay.
like dungeons or like anything like that, I'll probably level them up at some point, man.
yeah, for sure,
But
dude. I'd be down and
yeah.
everything. And hell yeah, man. I'm gonna log though, bro. Yo, it was good talking to you and shit.
Actually, about to do the same thing, dude. I'm getting ready to get some food and everything.
Yeah, I'm
It was
starving.
actually like it's crazy to just like sit here and talk about WoW with somebody like because I don't think we've really talked before.
Nah, man.
But we're on the same page, man. It's the same thing. Like everybody that I talk to is like we're all on the same page.
We are,
And
dude.
I just really hope that they make the game, you know, the same way that we wanted it to be. You know, I think that's really what it is.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's the ultimate goal. But
Completely, man.
wait, what
Well,
do you
anyway,
what do you level? Oh, you're leveling a warlock right now.
Yeah, because his name's Wanold, and I've been leveling him to get like the
Wanold. Oh, Wanold.
Wanold, yeah, Wanold the Wakener.
Oh god.
And yeah, I've been leveling him just to get like the heritage armor. Like, so like if you level an allied race, like legitimately from like 0 to actually from 20 to 110, they give you like a free set of armor, and like that's why I've been doing it.
Yeah. I gotta do that. Wait, what is your race though?
Void Elf. I'm doing
Void Elf?
with this one.
Yeah, I gotta look into
Yeah.
that shit. So
Yeah,
But
it's,
yeah,
it's
man.
a lot to do. Honestly, you'll have a lot of fun like playing, and you know by the time that you catch up to everything, new stuff will be out. So I think it's a really good time for you to start back in.
yeah, I think that is a good idea. I might hit up one. I'm gonna look into the races as well and just see which one I like.
Oh
the
yeah,
best,
for
so.
sure, man. They're gonna bring out a lot of new ones too, probably with BFA.
How many do you think total? Oh wait, as the
For
expansion
now, I
goes
think it's
on.
like 7. Oh yeah, and think about it, dude. So they can do this thing where they just make a new race.
Yeah.
What do you think people do whenever they make a new race? Pay for race changes.
Oh my god.
Like yeah, they're gonna keep making new ones, man. They're gonna make a lot.
I didn't see. I thought it was they weren't gonna do that, but now that I think about it, they're gonna fucking do that. I'm being naive. I should know
And
this
it's
by
not-
now.
Like that's one thing that I can't complain about, right? I
Yeah.
mean, because I like being able to play the new races. That's fun. It's good.
Yeah,
But,
man. But
Yeah, I'm gonna
Shit,
go ahead
dude.
and call it a day. But
yeah,
it was good.
it was good talking
It
to you
really
too. We should totally hit up
100%.
some shit to together. I don't know if you ever
I'm
do
down,
another
man.
allied race. Is it faster if we, you can just level together or
Um,
something as well?
Honestly, like that's like a 50-hour thing.
Oh god.
It is a huge thing. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm down to like do like shit at max level too. But
Oh, yeah, for sure,
I
for
just
sure.
don't know like entirely what all that's gonna be. But anyway, man, it was
All
good
right, man.
talking to you.
Yeah, for sure, dude. We should
All right,
definitely
peace.
do it up
See you
again.
later.
Peace out, man.
Bye.
All right, chat. I'm good. You guys are good. You guys